am. There you go. I create my own. I create my own miracles because I'm about
So,
putting.
good morning,
Hello.
everybody. So we already have some folks in here. It looks like let's see, Hunter, Karina,
Hello, Hunter. Hello,
Netta,
Gracie.
Susie.
Hello.
Susie is signed up for my course. Actually, Will, just before we went on, somebody signed up for your course, so I'll have to give you the email address so you can.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Who signed up?
Somebody named Anna. So I need to give you her email address because she didn't fill out the form, but she bought the course. So
Okay.
when I have her info, I'll send it to you, and then uh, is your email address the same for everything else? Like,
Yep.
okay.
It's all the same. Yep.
Hi, hello, guys. I'm just
Hello.
looking.
Can you guys hear me?
I was trying to figure out how to see everybody. Okay, I can see
Yeah. Hello, James. Hello. Heyo.
now. Hello.
Great. So, yeah. Well, it usually just takes like a few minutes for everybody to find it. Hey, Lady Night. Oh, I should probably. Oh, Shay. Hey. Oh, Sea Cat's here and Shadowlander. I'll just.
Hello. Hello there, guys.
So I'm just gonna put that there and boom. And then I'll and it's nice that I can actually type because normally when I'm on my phone I can't type comments and I can't do anything. It's just straight video. So since I'm actually on my computer, I can put like the link to everything and all of
Yeah.
that and as you guys get to talk about your courses, which is going to be awesome sauce. So yeah. So for now, as everybody's coming in, like, how's your Saturdays going and what's up? As you can see, we have some fabulous people in today, and perhaps another person going to join us.
Awesome. Yeah. My weekend's good so far. Nothing new. I was able to get some rest, so that's always good. But yeah, it's not packed full of stuff, so you can't beat that. Can't beat that.
I've
Yeah,
been busy. I've been busy. I've been busy and I love it. It's
Yeah.
not it's not a chore like being busy creating. I got this fire out of a sudden after we went through that tiredness. We went through that period of tiredness and not feeling. So I guess we downloaded a lot of energy because I'm like, we.
Yeah, me too. Like yesterday and the day before, I've been getting huge downloads left and right.
Cool. And we got to take advantage of those. And
Oh,
sometimes,
Ariel's here. Yay!
hey,
Ah!
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. It's so nice to see you.
Oh, good morning, butterfly.
good morning, everybody. Good morning. Everybody's got their coffee, their tea.
Yeah. So I think Jonathan might be popping in at some point. But yeah, so I mean, if you guys all want to just kind of talk about like what's your plans for the weekend stuff while everybody still kind of comes on in. Julifer, hey. And it's a little delayed, the comments, just a little bit more than they normally are on YouTube, just because it's got to go through StreamYard first before it goes into YouTube. So it's just a bit of a delay. So give me just a.
Everybody's coming in. I can.
Oh, Sherrybug, what up, girl?
What up? Get a little.
Yeah, throw it up for the homies. What's up?
Oh, we lost somebody.
No, that was just me taking the comment off.
Oh, okay.
What happened?
Well, yeah. One picture went away from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One screen.
Her internet kind of goes up and down. So.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. No, it's been quite a bit too. The internet's been acting up these days too. And of course, it's funny when you aren't in a joy. So this is what I like to tell everybody. When you're in a joy, the negative energies want to stop you from your joy. So be aware of that. Be aware of that and don't allow anything to stop you from your joy and just laugh about it. Maybe I'll tell you guys about my story, what happened later on. It's only to Diane where stories will happen. Like even to Tara, Hello, you're back.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Sorry
Um,
about that.
Sherry Bug is
Alright.
saying hello to Will and to Diane, to everyone. Susie saying
Hello.
hello to everyone as well.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm trying to see the comments and I can't figure out the comments, guys. So so thanks for telling us, Sarah. Because
It's in the top right. Just click on the comments next to private chat.
but
Oh, I see.
what's the order? From up down or down up?
I think
Oh,
down
there
is
you
the
go.
layest comment.
I see. There you go. Perfect. I see it now.
There you go.
I can see clearly.
Okay.
So, anywho, yeah. So on Wednesday of this week, the doors to Léon Mystery School opened, and that was like um, just over a year in the making. Something I'd wanted to do, and it was very interesting in how it just kind of started, just kind of snowballing of like it needs to take off and everything. And Yeah, it was. Will had messaged me and was like, "Hey, when are you doing that school of yours?" And it just happened to be like 1 year to the day that I had last talked about it during my live chat when I was like, "Hey, maybe someday I'll like make an online school. It'll be like Hogwarts or something." And I thought that was really interesting, and also I kept seeing the numbers 9 and 11, which it was like 911. Oh my gosh, is there some sort of emergency going on? And I didn't actually put it together until, well, after Will messaged me, I was going back through like some old emails, and an email caught my eye from September 11, and that was the last email actually from James about the school.
Oh,
Oh, 9/11, like the actual date. And so then when I started putting the school together, I stopped seeing 9/11 everywhere, and all I started seeing was 111s, and that's all I see now are like ones everywhere. So I know I'm like headed in the right direction. But yeah, it was super exciting to finally, put it all together. But I mean, there would be no school if there were no teachers. You know,
yes.
so we have some fabulous teachers in here today. Obviously, not all of our teachers. We have another teacher will be joining us later. Claudia will actually be joining us later.
Mhm.
But she's got so many awesome projects going on right now. The lady is talented.
Thank
um,
you. Thank you.
but then and also Jonathan, and he usually pops in a little bit later because Jonathan's 3 hours behind us because he's on Islander time. So
He's at the beach.
yeah,
Nice.
he's probably at the beach. Uh, so anyway, I wanted everybody to kind of talk about their courses. Like, what are you teaching? To get people to see like what our fabulous school has to offer. You guys are very knowledgeable in what you guys do, and I'm very fortunate to consider you guys my friends and colleagues, and you guys are totally awesome sauce.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. It's really an honor.
It is great. It's a great group, and I'm so honored to be with you guys here and
Yeah.
share what I have to share with you guys and everybody here, which is it's something we need to do. It's something nowadays we need to focus on elevating our frequency and our learning and knowledge, and instead of focusing on stuff that is not going to do us well. So, and again, all these beautiful teachers here all together. I'm so great. I mean, very grateful that I'm part of this. It's so amazing. So totally grateful for it. Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me in it. And when I wrote you, I didn't even think about the date. I just thought, oh, you know what? I remember that there was a school that we were talking about, and I just thought, okay, let me just go ahead and see if that's still something that we'd like to do. And then when you wrote me back, I thought, wow, that's interesting that date matched up, and then with James, and I was like, yeah, definitely, I think this is something that we need to do. And so I'm glad that we did, because I'm really excited about it. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think that it's going to be something, like you said, that needs to be done, and something that
Hmm.
is kind of people can have different things to focus on and just bring us together. And it's just a different way of doing it too. I think that the interactive way that we can do this, because of the way we have it set up, is something I think is unique and special. And I think it's going to really be a really good part of this that will allow people to not just interact with us, but other people in the class as well. So,
and I think it's important, like schools like this and this school as well. I mean, the dark forces have basically kept this information from us. And I think now we're entering a time where it's time to spread this information to everyone. And so this type of metaphysical, occult information is, can be used against us, or it can be used to uplift us. And I think that's what we're doing here.
Yeah, so I mean, like,
Absolutely.
I was trying to see, because there's obviously other, online schools, and and I've enrolled in a couple before, and it was just like, myself, I'm a school teacher. Will's a school teacher too, and it's just, it seemed like there was something missing, and it was like, well, if I wanted to make the school myself, what would my school look like? What would be really, magical and fun? And for me, I'm a very interactive person. Like, I'm a kinesthetic learner, I'm a visual learner, and so I can't just read a bunch of material and feel like I gained really anything from it. So I need to feel personal connection. So I was like, well, why don't I like add that into my own school? So
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I'm a teacher, although ex-teacher, and I was teaching college, and we had to go online one time, and it's a lot of work for both the teacher and the student, but it's very disconnected. So I feel that when I've taken online courses, I always have signed up for the live courses, but then they end up having, maybe it ends up being like one live class, and then all the others are, you're still getting the written. And I am a visual learner as well. I like that connection, with exactly what Will said.
Yeah, and
that connection.
I personally run my own school too, and I do that every week, every other week. I go with them, interact with them. But then what I notice is that when we're in a group, it's even good because, and again, like Kara says, not every school gives you the truth. They just give you some bunch of things that it makes no sense, and they don't give you a solution, and they don't give you the key that you need to do to apply. Because, like, for example, I'm doing love spell, but it's not just a bunch of things, putting a bunch of things together. The energy comes from you. You are the magic, right? You're the magic. How do we ignite that magic? We need to know those secrets. Now, most of the places don't tell you anything. And it's funny because most of the people are attracted to go to those places. And when you have the truth, less people are attracted to that. I wonder why.
So frustrating.
Yes. You know what? You tell me about it, Light of Raga. You are right on. You understand exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, I like what you said about you are the magic, because the first time that I found Tara, her YouTube channel, that's my thing. And I heard her say that too, and that's why I just kept listening. Because I don't know if you said it in those words, but basically, we're creating this, and it's beautiful. So it's really great too, because there's all kinds of spiritual paths, but it's so nice when you meet people that are
the real
loose and free and connecting.
Yeah, when we were first talking about this and we were thinking about how to do it, and then a lot of things happened. I remember Tara was talking about it. And she was saying, she was thinking about, okay, well, how would we do this? And then a lot of things happened, and we started teaching online as teachers, and we started getting these ideas like, this can work because this is a good way to bring people together, and we're learning all these different things. And it seemed like it just kind of transitioned into that, and it just, the timing worked out, the way we're going to do it worked out. Everything was just there. It was just like, okay, this makes a lot of sense now. I can see this now.
I have a question for Will and Tara. You guys are both teachers in the traditional sense. How did you feel being able to have like more freedom and less restrictions to share what you know, as opposed to like your traditional job?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, that's a good question because sometimes when I'm teaching, something will pop into my mind and I'm like, you know what? I have to stick to what is here in the curriculum because, you know, this could come back to me because I've actually done that before. I've let a couple of things slip. I've like, I got to tell them this because this is really interesting to me, to my students. And I've said it and then I thought back and I was like, you know what? I probably shouldn't do that because, you know, someone may disagree and I need to just give them pretty much what, you know, the school wants them to know. And so being able to just really explore has always been kind of my thing. I love to just be free with my thoughts and with anything really. I just want to be able to really explore it and kind of get past all the ridicule and all of the criticism and just, you know, allow my mind to go and allow it to be creative and have a healthy mind that can just really approach things from different perspectives and angles and that's how Nikola Tesla was. You know, he was like, you know, talking about all this stuff and people were looking at him like, what, you know? But now when we look back, it's like, wow, this guy was like ahead of his time, you know? Not saying that I'm ahead of my time or anything like that, but
Oh, you are.
no.
Bro.
You're definitely
We all are.
I agree with the restrictions that you have as a teacher. That's why I wanted to teach college, and I did not. You know, although I love kids, and in my studio, I teach little ones. But because in college at least you get much more leeway for that.
Yeah, you know, my girlfriend teaches college and she'll say stuff and I'm like, you said that to your students? And she's like, yeah, you know, I can say that stuff. And I'm like, wow, no way. I can't do it.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
My stepmom, she teaches at State, which is, you know, our local college, and she swears like a sailor actually when she teaches, and I'm like, you swear? She's like, they're all adults. She's like,
Yes. Yes, exactly.
and she swears like a sailor. So
Yeah. It works in
personally,
your favor to swear like a sailor. That's what
Yeah,
I
it's more
do.
relatable.
I stuck with it.
I honestly, guys, I personally, the real school should be this kind of school to the children to teach them the truth. And the school, I feel like they get programmed to in the programs and not to block them from the truth and block them into whatever they want us to believe. And so, what I wanted to add to this is that right now, especially with the lockdown and all of that, people needs to take advantage of it. You have two roads to choose. Are you going to sit in front of a TV and take those programs, or are you going to invest in yourself and elevate yourself so you can ride this in a nice way? Because we can ride it nicely, or we can ride it in a disaster way. But it's up to you. You got free will. It is up to you how you're going to ride this. What's going on? Are you going to take it as what a disaster? Am I a victim? Or am I going to say I'm powerful? I can do this, and I'm going to elevate myself and bring abundance regardless of what's happening. That's up to you. It's a free will world. But this is the kind of teaching that will wake you up and take you to the next level where you can ride this and just have fun while you're going through it. Like a roller coaster. Whee! We're going down the roller coaster right now, right?
I agree.
Yes,
I
me too.
agree. Yeah.
This feels more like self-empowerment, whereas school felt more like just going along to get along, to kind of fit in and find your place in the world instead of creating your place in the world, which is what we want to do.
Mm.
Well, yes, in the school, there's a lot of you. If you don't look like that, you're not part of my group. If you don't look like that, get away. And so there's a lot of making people feel like they're not worth it, and that's part of the programs. And that's exactly what they want, to make everybody believe that they don't have a power. Everybody here, everybody who's watching, even if you don't think you do, you have that magic inside of you. But some of you know it. Some of you have sealed it inside, not yourself, but the programs have made you believe that you're not powerful, that you don't have what it takes. But and also makes you judge yourself because it's all in the media. You know, you shouldn't do it that way. You should look that way. And if you don't look that way, if you're not at that age or everything, you're not worth it. And that's what they make you believe. No, it is not. You're wonderful. You're beautiful. Just the way you are. You are divine creator. And so wake up. It's time to wake up, wake up.
Yeah, definitely. Stepping outside of the box is something that a lot of people, it's hard for them to do. It's a challenge, but I think that the more you do that, the more, of course, the more progress you're going to make. But I mean, so many people in history have stepped outside of what the realm of what the world said was possible, and it took a lot of courage, but it's setting that example, I think, is important for other people to see, because if you never look at anything differently, if you ridicule everything and look at everything in a specific way, then you'll never know. You'll never know. But I think that a lot of people just they're happy where they're at. But I think it's important that if you're willing to even open up your mind a little bit and to think of, okay, is this possible? What's out there? What am I missing? Is there anything? Then you might be surprised.
Yeah, I think the problem is you don't know what you don't know. So a lot of people have no idea this world even exists. And so
Yes.
yeah, so this is so important, not just to spread this information, but to let people know that this type of information exists in the world, and that can help open people up.
True. So true.
Like with my students, I mean, okay, so like, for my teaching and stuff like that in school, there have been years where, like literally I've had like some like really good administrators and department chairs, and they have allowed me to like, I mean, I teach English, but they're like, hey, just, we need a writing course that's going to help like our EL students, and you get to create it, and I get to like do whatever I want. Like I make my own curriculum and stuff. And so like those have been really awesome years. And and there was like one year like I like improved test scores by like 76% or something with my class. And then they're like, oh wow, that class is great. So we're gonna give it to somebody else now that you've made it. They like
Typical.
so I was like, a little jaded. But then, but it was always so restrictive, especially like when people look over my shoulder and like, you have to teach this, and almost like they give me a script that I have to read, which I hate reading to a script. I mean, scripts are okay if you're singing opera, but like not when you're in a classroom, So
Yes.
any of those classes where I got to just do my own thing and nobody would bother me, was great. And so, and then in the past few years, I've had students who have wanted more, and it's like more than I could say as a teacher in a classroom, where they were like, they want to know about like spirituality type stuff, and I can't talk about that, in a school setting. And some of the kids would be like, Miss Chito, you're a little different than the other teachers. They're like, could you help me with, I'm scared. I see spirits in my room, and I know that you know what I know. And I was like, how do you know that? And they're like, because of the way you talk, you just sound different. And I was like, trying to be incognito here. But yeah, so I'm like, if I could also make the school, because the school's accessible for people of all ages. Like I have a little thing in there. If you're under 18, they just have to get whatever, digitally signed by a parent so they can be in our school too. So it's not just for adults, but I also want to like, there's kids out there like asking questions, they need a little bit more guidance in the, more than what the state education system can do for them.
Yeah, it's funny because I'll see kids like every year, every year I'll see a few kids that I recognize that have like a crystal around their neck, or they have a bracelet, or they're reading something interesting, and I don't tell them that I know what that is. I know what you're into. I don't say anything, but I'll just be like, that's really cool. You should keep reading that. That's really really interesting. And they don't know that I'm like more into that than them, but I'll just kind of encourage it along, and I'll just kind of do it on a low key kind of way, just like encourage it. But and then I'll just, maybe if there's something like a book or something that I think they might be interested in, I'll mention it. I'll be like, oh, have you heard of this? And just to kind of like spark something there. Yeah.
I think it's important. I think it's important to remember that the kids coming in right now, all their souls have agreed to create new Earth, right? All these kids are here to take us to 5D. So these are not the kids that we're used to, right? These are special kids. So we got to remember that.
Yes,
Well,
you know what? I was just going to say that, and they're trying to dumb them down. Or see, that's what the funny part. They're trying to block them from doing their journey, what they came for. And it's true. You just read my mind, Tara.
I
Yeah,
feel like we're on the
I
same.
was,
I keep all these
yeah,
crystals in my
I
classroom on
was
my
all right. I was thinking about the difference between like my college students and like my younger students, and there I see that difference, of their mentality, and how they're moving forth and how they're coming up, and they are, totally different.
they're just they think a lot differently. Their energy is a lot different. Like I've always
Mm-hmm.
had like I keep rose quartz, black tourmaline, and selenite in my classroom in the corner, like decoration. Um, but I have those crystals it kind of gridded, although it doesn't look like a grid to them, but it's in one corner of my classroom. And the kids are like, whenever I tell them, to do their collaboration work, they can sit wherever they want in the classroom, but most everybody chooses to sit on the floor. And there's always a group of kids that's like messing with the crystals, or one of them's like using one of my selenite things as like a magic wand, and stuff. And they're like, "Hey, Mr. Jetta, like, what's this?" I'm like, "Oh, that's selenite." And they're like, "What's it for?" I'm like, "Clearing stuff." They're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
cool." And they're like, "What's this one
Oh,
called?"
when I teach the little ones, I teach in my studio, which is full of the goddesses, so they all ask questions, and I built like a mini labyrinth outside. And so, but it's a private studio, so I have a lot more, but it's amazing how they're interested in that, and it's interesting too how the public at large knows a lot more about these things. Thinking back when I started with all this, which you could find like the one tiny little store, and now we have kits
Oh.
on Amazon for different things.
Aloha.
Hey,
Hello.
Jonathan.
Aloha.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, I'm late.
Is also, as you guys know, one of our teachers, everyone.
We're
I was
balanced.
actually
We got
gonna
3
be.
girls and 3 boys.
I
Divine feminine, divine masculine balance. There we go.
Oh yeah.
I was noticing when I was putting our website together and I was putting all of our pictures, and I was like, also, I mean, I know that there tends to be, a whole flood of mostly ladies and, and all this stuff. However, I was like, you know what? My school's pretty balanced. Like,
Definitely, definitely. Because you
Mm-hmm.
know what? Men are, for some reason, what happens is a lot of men being trained to not believe in these things, to be in the working mode. I'm the macho man. And so if they become a little bit spiritual, they label them, "You're too soft," blah blah blah. And so a lot of males stays away from it. But those who are actually doing this is we need more men to do this. It's very we need to balance the planet, guys, honestly. And again, going
Mm-hmm.
back, being in the programs, it's a comfort zone. You probably feel like you're happy there, but you're not happy there, but it's comfortable for you. And trying to do the transition, it is uncomfortable. It is work, but it's worth it. So I just really want to make sure, and it's not cuckoo, it's not crazy, guys. And of course, most of the people will say those people are this and they're evil. They call knowledge evil. So that's so wrong because they're trying to program you to have fear to the knowledge, to your power, so you don't tap into your energy. So definitely, male and women, everybody should be in this and elevate. Because again, how do we help this planet? By starting with you. Starting with you. That's how we're going to help this planet. That's how we can change everything that is happening. How do we vibrate? That's basically it. Very easy, but hard at the same time.
well, like my brother, I mean, my brother's really sensitive, sensitive as in ability sensitive, but he's also just kind of sensitive as a human being. And so it was interesting when we were growing up, whereas my brother is more, he was being more open and expressive about, his feelings and like what he could see and all this stuff. Whereas me, I was hiding behind masculinity, even though I'm a girl. And I'd be like, you don't see anything and stuff like that, even though I could see and feel everything my brother could, but I was like in denial. Denial is not just a river in Egypt, but like, it was in my house. And now that we're older, my brother's 6 years younger than me. Now I'm like totally embracing it, and my brother flip flops, and now he pretends that never happened. I think he's like trying to be Mr. Macho Man. So it's like, I don't know. It's interesting. Our roles reversed, where I drop back into like a feminine role. My brother has become more masculine, sort of.
What it is the fear of not fitting in. So a lot of people do things in purpose to want to fit in. They want to be part of it, but yet inside they don't feel happy because they don't. I'm doing this so I can fit it in this group because that's how it's supposed to be. So I have to be like that. And inside you're suffering because you're not letting your true self come out. And you know what? Not until you let your true self come out, then you can you it is amazing. Okay, I cannot even explain, but you guys will have embraced your true self. You see the difference when you weren't embrace it, and now that you embrace it, totally different life, amazing life. But try to explain this to people because it's impossible. Take the word out of your dictionary. Impossible. Cross it off. Scratch it off. Take that page off the dictionary. Impossible does not exist. Everything is possible. It is up to you to believe in that.
Actually, there's a poster up in my classroom that says, the 4-minute mile climbing Everest, human flight, everything's impossible until it's not. So,
Yes.
Of course.
Yes, and things come about in ways that we would never expect. So it's important too to be open
Yes.
to how things will arrive at your door and what doors will open that you never imagined.
Miracles happen. They do happen.
Yep.
They do
Yeah.
happen.
And it's you end up, I know for me, for personal, huge thing, huge dream, and I came to it in a way that I would never ever have imagined, and that probably if I would have been told that I would get there in that manner, I would have said, no way, I don't want that. That's bad. I would have labeled it as a bad trip. It wasn't easy, but it was a good journey, and I'm exactly where I wanted to be for that one thing. And I might have, I just didn't know. So it's important to just kind of let go of it once we throw it out there and be open.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think the realization that we are actually creating these miracles is what's going to uplift humanity. These aren't things that happen to us and we say, oh, thank you so much. Like, you made it happen. You created it by the way you're vibrating.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you believe, remember, we create everything up here. So when people tell you stop dreaming, you continue dreaming, okay? That's one thing to say, oh, were you dreaming? No. Dreaming and imagining and also going into, just fantasizing. That's your imagination. Let your imagination go wild because everything that is being created, everything that is being created in this planet was a thought first. And then
that's
to Earth.
That's such a good point. There's been so many times where I've come up with these ideas and I've been like, I'm going to do this. And I've waited. And then like right after someone's like, this new invention or we just did this. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought about that a couple of months ago. I just put that out there and then,
I have a secret to tell you guys about that. I got a secret and then I'll let you talk. There's a secret to that. The minute you have that idea, and it comes into your mind and it feels good. It feels really good. You have up to 48 hours to take action. After 48 hours, your chat, the other people will take you out of it. 48 hours. Action could be just journaling down. Okay? 48 hours. That's a secret and that's a law. And nobody tells you about this. Now you know that. When you have that thought that it makes you like, that feels good, and you start preparing and start journaling, that's an action. Because the minute you wait 48 hours, your mind is going to say, oh, that's expensive. Oh, that will never happen. And then you have the naysayers that you're called friends sometimes. You think they're your friends. They're going to take you out of that thought. Oh, that's too much work. Oh, don't, what do you think? And it goes like that. So there you guys go. A
Yeah.
little gift for everybody.
And it's just further proof that we're all just one consciousness. The illusion of separation is just an illusion. So we're all sharing the same thoughts.
Yeah.
This idea that you just shared goes quite along with pretty much with the basis of what I am planning on teaching, that has to do with rituals and with creating your universe according to the Andean, which is I'm here in Chile, by the way, and so by the indigenous people from the Andes. And it's not as specific as 48 hours. I don't know exactly, but it's I think, if I'm not correct, I think it's just a couple of days. But no, that would be 48 hours. I don't remember how long it is, but it's a few days.
48
And
hours.
it's the same premise. I think it's longer, is what I'm thinking. Yeah, 48 hours will be 2 days, but I think it's longer, that you have to put it out there. And then the idea is that once you put it out there, there are other people that are wishing for the same thing that you're wishing for. And so once you've wished for it, there's all this energy that's put out there. So there's more energy for that particular thing that you're trying to manifest.
Right.
And
they will grab
and
it.
So it will be grabbed. And so you have to,
Yes.
You know what's interesting about all this
is how many days.
Yeah, share with us. And definitely.
You know what's interesting about all of this is that scientists, they study this stuff. They do all these things and then they classify it, right? And they have all these hadron colliders. They have they employ psychics. They're really researching stuff. But on the outside, when we look at it, a lot of people, they'll look at it and they'll say, oh well, that's not realistic. There's no cosmic lattice. We're not connected. But then you look at a lot of things in science. You look at magnetism. You look at things that we can't see. Like you take a magnet and it's not touching something; it's actually moving it, right? And there's a field around it. But yet people will look at that and they'll just think, oh well, science has explored that. We've talked about that. That's something that's there. But anything else like telepathy or just thoughts being connected, those types of things, until they feel like an authority says it, no one's willing to explore it. It's like all that's in the hands of, scientists in that realm that, are doing this, behind closed doors and making the rest of the world, this huge, show of, oh, that stuff's not real. That's impossible. But yet they're looking into it and they've been doing it for years. And, then they'll release documents that show, oh yeah, we've employed people to do remote viewing and all this stuff. Yeah. But, we're not going to tell you about that.
I could listen to you talk for hours, Will.
That's funny. I can't listen to myself. I don't watch myself.
But I always listen to Tara and Will when they're doing we all did a little review on our little video. You guys are a good teacher. I love the way you guys explain it. So clear, so beautiful. I love it. So you guys know how to teach.
So I know basically our whole life is a journey. It's one big journey, and sometimes people ask, oh, when did you start your journey? Well, like when I popped out of my mama, really. But like what I want to ask you is when you feel like your spiritual journey more accelerated more, because obviously the whole life is a spiritual journey, whether you feel like you're in a spiritual place or not, mentally, at least in my opinion. So like I want to know, like, when for you guys did it feel like it accelerated or things changed or like your thought process changed and it's kind of like gone in the direction it has?
Well, for me, I actually got introduced to the whole spiritual side of things early when I was 13. I was at a summer camp where they offered a class where they taught crystal reading, pendulum use, tarot. They did a past life regression for us. I mean, the whole thing. So I dived headfirst into it, and I was like really into it for probably 10, 15 years. And then like I think I dived too deep too quickly, and I switched the other way and like threw it all away basically, and rejected it for probably about 10, 15 years. And now I've dived back into it because I realized it's not something I can push away. It's part of me. So, and the interesting thing is I'm an acupuncturist, and they see the ear as an upside down fetus. And so the points that I got my ears pierced are the eye points. So it's like symbolically, I gouged my own eyes out when I decided to turn away from spirituality.
Oh man.
So,
Yours off.
yeah. So those piercings that we all always get are like right at
Yeah.
the eye point. Yeah. And
Oh,
I
no.
went like fully. I got my ears pierced at 10 gauge, so it's like it literally took out the whole point.
At least it wasn't a lobotomy.
Right.
I have a question. You know why? If I take my earrings off, no matter how many years I had it open, they close. They keep closing.
Right.
They don't want to stay open with the earrings. They keep closing. So I ended up putting like this gold thing because I cannot have it just any material on my. And if I take them off within a week, they close no matter how long. Is that normal or what?
Oh yeah, no, that's normal. That's what
They
your
close.
body, because it's a microcosm of a macrocosm, right? So it is like an upside down fetus represents your whole body. So
Huh.
it's your body trying to heal itself. And if there's a gap, even from an earring, that is an opening that your body's trying to close.
That's 6 years We're learning something here.
Well, I would need to get surgery to have my holes closed because they're at 8 gauge now. So.
You know, I had the earring open here and all that, and I heard somebody telling me to take them off. So I took off the other ones. I just left the normal ones. But now I get those are coming out.
I've had mine since I was little. I'm sorry, Tara.
So I only have 2 in one ear, but 1 in the other, and I took my nose ring out, and now it's all healed up. So there's.
You can put fake ones, you know.
Well, I don't have metal in my ears. I have chunks of amethyst.
Nice. I have gold. That's what I like, the gold on it, because anything else, but I like the amethyst part though. That sounds like a good
That's
thing.
the way to go.
Yeah, I like that. Absolutely.
I wear little pearls that I've had since I was 2 weeks old.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's awesome.
I actually have this ear pierced. My sister did it in high school, and it was like the thing to do, like, and so I was talking to her. I was like, I think I'm gonna get this ear pierced, and she was like, I can do that. So she took this earring. I don't know what kind of earring it was, and she just stuck it in my ear, and it never closed. No type of sterilization. She just punctured my ear, and it's been open the whole time. I could stick an earring in there right now. It never healed.
Yeah.
My parents won't let me get my ear pierced. So I'm like, hold on, I got a safety pin. Turn around. They're like,
oh, that hurts. Oh my God.
People with all these safety pins on their ears.
I did my belly once. That was horrible. I took it off already though. But when I had made a promise to myself, and if I did that promise, I was to do my belly. And so I did my promise. I did it. So that was a commitment that I had with myself. Promise. When I was there, it's like, I don't want to do this, but I promised myself. I like, that was so horrible. Oh no! And I actually lasted a couple of years with it, and then I just took it off. Just kept getting stuck. Like, no, it wasn't for me. So, but hey, I did it at least. I paid my promise. That's all. When you
I have 2 holes that haven't closed either. I don't wear earrings on those, and they haven't closed. I'm not normal.
No, I mean some
of us are normal.
Just don't close. Like mine, I'm gonna need surgery if I ever want these closed.
How about the viewers? How many ear piercings does everybody has here in the viewers down there? Everybody was watching this year of their ear piercing.
Yeah, I had to have mine redone because my little brother pulled on mine, you know, and it's never closed. So I don't know.
Things in total.
Sometimes you need surgery to get the holes to close.
Yeah, I think so.
Tara, we didn't hear what you just say.
Maybe it was 5. I said I think at one point I had 5 piercings, but I'm down to 3. So. And I had 2 tattoos at some point. Now I'm down to 1.
This is that lady that is saying she has 2 ears on set side. You're good to read the comments more, Tara. You're good at it.
I have lots of tattoos that I do have.
You know, when you do a tattoo, you have to be very careful too because you're putting a symbol. You know, I'm into symbols as well. And in my class, I will also teach you about symbols, how you can put a symbol into something. So when you put a tattoo, that symbol, you're going to vibrate that. Be careful what you put in your tattoos. If you want to vibrate that.
Yes.
I drew it myself, so.
I agree, absolutely. And symbols are a huge part of what I do. And they actually, I've done the tattoos, the drawing myself.
Beautiful.
And I have one on my back that's quite large, and one across my belly, and snake and roses.
Beautiful.
And they have all this, and actually the snake is in our logo for our business also, and so it's shown up quite a bit always in my life.
Is that your kundalini? Does that mean the snake means the kundalini for you? What's the meaning on your case?
To me, well, I work with the sacred feminine, and so the sacred feminine from ancestral times, the snake is a signifier for all of sacred feminine. Beautiful. Energy. And but I was working with the snakes before, in my art before I even knew about it. Same with the moon, and I remember somebody when I was in college with my I was doing my doctorate, so I was a little bit older, but so I'd had a bunch of paintings, and someone said to me, "Why are you always painting orbs?" And and then I realized, oh yeah, I always paint orbs. And then someone said, why's the moon always in your art? So I started discovering my symbols, and the channeling came before I even was aware of it.
You know how powerful the rose is as well, right? Like the rose is not just a flower; it's very powerful.
Oh yes, but I'd love for you to tell us what you know.
There is so much information about the rose. They used to use roses back in Egypt with the ankhs and all that. They don't talk much about it, right? But it is the rose is not only about love, but it's also about keeping peace. It is also connecting with the cosmics. There is so much about the rose that
purity.
How powerful that is. Purity.
Yes, purity.
So much. I know Tara's waving. She's going like that. What do you know about the rose, Tara? I like to know somebody who knows.
I've studied Egyptology since I was like before I could read. Like my nana, with my dad's mother, she used to have all these books stacked up by the front door and like a little bin of toys, so that whenever I came to visit, I could read her books, even though they weren't children's books, and half of them were in Spanish. So but one of them was King Tutankhamun, and so. I couldn't read it, but I could see all the pictures and stuff. And so what I couldn't read, she would tell me all about Egypt because she was like all into it. And I mean, it's my last name. So she would say, it's the family and and then they would, talk about it. And and she had a thing for roses, and she would just talk about how integrated it was with Egypt, with being a sign of power. But also peace and respect and, strength and able to endure because, rose bushes, although delicate, they are really resilient plants, especially growing in the middle of a desert, desert rose. So, all So yeah, so she always had like rose everything, rose Avon perfume, and
If you want to raise your vibration, drink rose petal tea.
That's what I'm drinking today. It's funny you say that. I'm actually
Oh,
rose tea. Oh my goodness.
Nice.
It's delicious. And I usually get
I
mine
love
from
drinking rose
Bulgaria.
petal
In
tea.
Bulgaria, they have the best roses products, the most organic. So my best friend, she's in Bulgaria, so she always gets me the good stuff. So that's exactly what I'm drinking. It's so funny. I never even.
Ah,
It is good.
I
I
have
also
some from
drink.
Palestine. I have a little bag of rose petals from Palestine.
So also
I was
this
saving them
spray-
for a ritual, but I might have to drink them now.
Yeah.
Do it.
It's a little mist. You can mist this up with it. It also raises your vibration. But wait. I would put a little warning. A lot of people will hear that, oh, the roses, they're gonna go buy roses and do things. Be
No,
careful
no.
because the roses that you buy in the store, they're full of chemicals. Unless they're
Right.
organic.
Yes.
Okay, you guys, organic. You know, if
Organic.
it's organic, then you can do a tea from you can do a lot of things with the roses, but make sure it's organic because you don't want to be putting the pesticides and all
Those
that.
weird chemicals.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, the rose is the one of the highest one that has the most chemicals out of all the flowers.
Oh,
Yeah, it's one of the highest. So of course, I found out all that because I like making my own rose water and all that, but sometimes I'm better off getting it. Even if I have to order from somebody, I don't. It's not organic because it's hard to find organic roses sometimes. And so, oh my goodness. So yeah.
And I'm glad you guys mentioned all of that. I've seen the roses a lot on tarot, on the magician card, and different cards, and I've always thought, okay, well, what's the significance, and kind of wondered about it, and
You know,
this
there's
that helps
a
a
very
lot. Thank you guys.
powerful mystery school. It's called the Rose Crucian. If anyone you know that. Ross,
Mhm.
you know, the cross and the Ross. There's so much power on that. So much power on that. And so, I know about them. So they're really good actually. So but they're just letting you guys know that they're the ones who started all the mystery schools in the whole planet. Okay.
Right.
They're the first one, and all this mystery school took over, from I'm talking about back in time, okay, back many eons of time. And so when the first mystery school was the Roscoe, and then all this, like I'm talking about those big ones that we know. I don't want to say names, but the big ones, right? That
Right.
no ones, right? They took the information from the Roscoe's and they turn it around because again, our magic we can do whatever we want with it. Again, believe it or not, the dark and the white, the light, both of them have free will. So the dark are free will to do whatever they want. The light has free will to do. Now we need to respect everybody as the light ones. We respect the dark side, but this dark side plays dirty, right? So they they slap the right. But definitely, it's come from eons, some time, all this knowledge, and it's being hidden, right? Being hidden.
yeah. I was
For a
just
while.
talking to a young child yesterday, sort of saying the same thing that you're saying. And I said, it's sort of like Star Wars, what's going on right now. Choose
Absolutely.
a side.
Well, the movies, they tell you all the truth. You know why? The dark has to, the thing is, they have to tell you. They cannot hide it. So how they're going to tell you is by putting a movie. So most of the people, it's just a movie. It's just, but really, they're telling you a lot of truth. Like even if you watch The Simpsons, everything that had happened in The Simpsons, a cartoon, right? Everything is being put on there, and people is like, it's just a cartoon, right? But it's all happening, right? So, and again, I feel like they know what's going to happen by there's I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's called the geometry, something like that. There's encodings in there. I feel like that's my personal opinion that when you get that, and I wish I could learn that because I haven't learned that yet. When you learn that, it's like you have encodings that you learn that you can actually tell what's gonna happen next. I don't know if you guys heard that, the geometry, something like that. No, nobody has heard that. Oh God. Okay, let's investigate it. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Is it
So
gematria where they use
Gematria.
numbers? They use
Yes.
numbers to predict things? Is
Yes.
that it?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
The
somebody in the chat was asking if anybody knew about the symbology or lore of blue roses.
Blue roses.
Oh yeah, what is that? I'm blanking right now, but I know I've learned that at one point.
Me too.
Never really pay attention to the blue rose. I know the blue rose would be like maybe something with the chakra, the throat chakra, to connect and communicate
Yes.
with the.
I also know that any blue rose, I'm pretty sure is not. It's artificially colored.
Mhm.
Right.
Let me.
It's
So
usually colored with indigo, I think.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
indigo is another spiritual plant. So
Yes. Yes.
Right.
You know, the thing is, like a lot of time I tell people, when you're writing down on paper, and I probably guys noticed there's not too many blue pens nowadays. They're more black pens or red pens or whatever, but there's no blue pens. The blue pen, it's one of another secret when you're writing a mantra or when you're manifesting. It's got to be with blue pen. And a lot of people say, why it has to be blue pen? It's blue. You know, you connect with your throat chakra. When your throat chakra is activated, you not only have connection with others, but you have connection to the whole universe. You understand? It
Mm.
opens that world. And that's why the blue pen opens that world as you're telling the universe, thank you, universe, for everything that I have. Remember, when you're saying when you want to manifest, it's in the moment that you already have it, not that I wish. No, I already have it. Thank you very much, universe. In blue pen, and you write it and you journal it and you do it many times because that helps your subconscious. Basically, is to help your subconscious to vibrate that. And if you're doing in the future, oh, I want to have that, I want to have that, tomorrow will never be here because everything is in the now. But blue pen, guys, blue pen. Again, maybe that's what they created the blue rose because the rose again is connection to the cosmic. And so maybe the blue rose will be connection through the throat chakra into the cosmos. That's the only thing I can think about the blue rose. But if you guys know something else, correct me or let me know if I
The,
like to.
the only thing I saw on Google was that after 20 years effort, biotechnologists made a blue rose through a combination of genetic engineering and selective breeding.
You know what's interesting? There's here in Chile. There's a big vote tomorrow to change the constitution. It's about polarized as things are there, but you can only use a blue pen to do the voting.
You see now why? I
interesting.
told you why. Because that really solidifies it into it.
And it's in the
true.
news. Everybody remember to use a blue pen. If you bring a black one, you cannot vote. And because of the pandemic, you can't borrow one.
Right. Right.
Well, actually, my best friend in Belgium said they just got their government a couple of days ago. They've been without a government for like just over a year because they couldn't figure out what kind of government they want to have. So she says, we finally have a government again as of a few days ago.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy things all around the world, politically.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
And again, how are we going to navigate this? We can navigate this. Not, you know what, even though it looks chaos, for me, it's not. I'm actually navigating this pretty cool. I'm having fun through it and I'm just observing and I'm not entertaining that energy. I'm entertaining my world. I am in my world.
Oh.
And so, yes, you are. And okay. And so, in the lockdown should be a blessing because the lockdown, you're not going to be communicating with other people. Use it to your advantage. Use to knowledge, to get knowledge. Use to connect to your higher self. And instead, most of the people do put the TV and go and get hypnotized because TV, I cover my TV. And I'm not using that anymore because you get hypnotized. And a lot of people say, oh, I'm strong. I can watch this. When you get hypnotized, you have no idea that you got hypnotized. And then you do things that you have no idea that you're doing it. But you know what? You're hypnotized. So you're getting the commands. You're getting the signals. There's commands. So if you're focusing more in learning and knowing who you are, that's the bottom line of all this is knowing who you are. Really who you are, not what your auntie told you, not what your parents told you, not what the school told you, but who you really are. What did you came here for? Your spirit path. You need to put some work and invest in yourself. But this is the best investment I can tell you. I can guarantee you, it's the best investment you can ever do. put time in yourself.
I just looked up what blue roses meant. So they symbolize mystery and attaining the impossible. So they basically represent the metaphysical, striving for the infinite and unreachable.
Beautiful.
And you keep in mind that there's a lot of people out there creating new things, and some of the stuff not even real, but they make it look real. So we'll look for the truth, guys, because there's so many nowadays, especially there's so many people being able to come online. They're just creating bogus stuff. So be careful what you put attention to, and use discernment. Use discernment quite a bit. We need to do that nowadays quite a bit.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Yesterday, I wanted to ask my higher self, like, what actions should I be taking right now? All this chaos, all this, frantic energy, what do I need to do? And my higher self said, all you have to do is practice your connection to your higher self. That is all you need to do, because that's going to give you all the answers. That's going to stop you from, taking on this negative energy. It's going to be your guidance through all this chaos. So I agree with you 100%.
And exactly, you know what? Your inner, going into your inner self. Now is the time, because now is also the time that a lot of people are triggered to gossip to you, and put a poison in your mind, so you will be against somebody else or something like that, and it's just poison. But if the whole world, you don't have to go fight. You don't need batons to go fight. You don't need guns. If the whole world would just stay centered in their heart, vibrating love, the whole world will do that. That's all you need to do, is stay home, vibrating that love, and being you truly love, vibrating that out. There will be no negativity. It will be destroyed. It will be disassembled. But getting the whole world to do that.
That's also come of all this is, well, I'm looking at all these beautiful teachers and this wonderful things that created. I mean, I don't know if it would have come together had I not been forced to stay at home and teach my students, online, and learn a new way of reaching people and connecting with people, and then there's you guys, so.
Yeah, and what happened to me is I couldn't fly back to the U.S. to teach in the summer. Usually I teach art camps to kids, and so I decided to teach a couple of weeks online so as not to lose the deposit, because money. And so it was really hard to teach young kids. I teach small groups from 6 to it's up to 13. So for you teachers, how, and to do it online, it was really difficult. And I thought it has to be something that I want to, and I decided to teach them how to create a children's book, which I had no idea how to do. But I've always loved children's book. And so I started looking into it, and I thought, okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this together for the kids. And I would love to do a children's book, because when I was little, I wanted to do a children's book, and I was thinking all this. And then the editor the publisher for the deck that you mentioned that just got published, they wrote me and they said, the deck is going to be released, blah, blah, blah. And we want to know what other projects you have in mind. And I thought, well, I know that I'm working on a second deck, but, just for the hell of it, I'll tell them a children's book. And then I thought, and I'll tell them, I'm working on a, what's it called? It's going to be like an activity book for meditation and connecting with a goddess, with ritual, blah, 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 coloring book. And so I just threw that out there, and they said yes. And then I was like, and so that's what I'm doing now. I'm working on a children's book, and that would have never happened if I would have flown back to the U.S. and taught my camp, and so, yeah.
I think that's the 3D, 5D shift. For the 3D people, this lockdown is just disastrous. It ruined their whole lives. But for us who are more in 5D, we used it as an opportunity to grow and advance and learn. So I think that's just the shift happening. Is there's two different worlds that we're living in right now.
Claudia, I have another. So while you were saying that, I got to they told me to tell you that you're going to create the children's book. So you can also create the oracle card to that children's book. Because not only children, I like the children's decks too myself.
Oh, that would be.
They told me to tell you. So you
Do you
do
know
whatever
what my
you
children's book is about? My children's book is teaching children that we all believe in different things and we all have different fears, and so it's a book of teaching and about our ancestors. A book teaching about Day of the Dead,
and you know what? And then you come
and
out with definitely. And then you
and
come out,
working with Halloween as well.
I love Halloween. But guys, by the way, I'm 100% Halloween through the whole year, not only 1 month. So there you go. I declare that. But Claudia, that is an
So
addition.
cards with that would be awesome.
An addition. And you know what? I would love. I mean, Tara, you and I would like the little cute things. Even though we're not kids, I like kid stuff because
And
you know what?
kawaii. I love kawaii.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that idea. Thank you.
Thank the spirit.
Yes.
You have 48 hours.
48 hours. And you know it. You be following.
Or 2 days.
It doesn't apply because I already started.
Write it down now. Write it down. The
I
card.
see Sherrybug has a question for us.
Oh,
Sherrybug says, question for the panel. What is the newest big spiritual or metaphysical topic you have dove into? For me personally, I started diving into human design because I find it so fascinating. It's so complicated, though. I'm like barely scratching the surface on that stuff.
I honestly, I don't want to even go there right now because I had tapped into something that it will actually will mess your lives, all of you guys. So I'm not going to even go there. And I promised them I wasn't going to talk about it, but I actually woken up in the wrong place. And I found out a lot of truth about our planet and ourselves and our lives. And it is kind of fun, but if I will tell, it's like if I will tell you, I will destroy your movie. Okay. But the one thing I can tell you is this. Again, the fact that you are the creator of your own life, yes, you are. The fact that you create what you believe, yes. Have faith in yourself. That you're powerful and you have that energy, yes. So take and be in the now and the present. That's what I learned from all that. Again, I don't want to go further into that because I did promise, because I was supposed to forget and I didn't forget. And so I told them, don't let me, I don't want, I had an agreement with them. I wasn't going to say anything about it. But what I can do say is be in the now. Now is the time. Okay. There is no time. The past and the future, it's all happening now. Okay. You can actually cross portals to your future self. You can cross portals to the back and still live all that. So if you go into the back, try to go into the joyful moments. Do not go back into the sad, depressing stuff because you're leaving that again and you're hurting yourself again. That comes right in the present here. Everything is the time thing is a human thing. Okay. The time thing is a human. And believe it or not, if us humans, we agreed into the time thing, that's when we get older. Okay. But if we didn't go into the time thing, we never will get older. So that's why if you, I know that's a collective thing. So I don't like to use the word impossible, but it's very hard to get the humans to all agree that there's no time. Everybody needs the time. And I don't even look at the time. Only when I have appointments and stuff like that. I don't even know what days there sometimes because I try to do my own little rule in my own little world, trying not to follow everybody. Again, I don't know if you guys notice, I'm 55. I don't look 55 because I don't put that age on me, right? That is just a number. It's a number that is created by the collective, but how do you feel about it? And again, when I reach this age, I'm going to have to feel this way. That's because you believe that, already? Because when you reach at that age, how do you want to be? It's your own you. But because we're so conditioned that when we have this age, we have to act this way, we have to look this way, we have to be this way. No. You can create your own even youth within yourself. Again, Believe in yourself, be in the moment. Don't worry too much about what's tomorrow. There's no guarantees about tomorrow. Nothing in this planet, nothing. And everything we have is borrowed, by the way. This is borrowed, everything is borrowed. The one thing it's not borrowed and you take with you is your knowledge. Already? And so know that the be in the plan. This is keywords. Be in the now and enjoy the be in the joy. If something negative attacks you, because those are attacks, you laugh at it and you have a good laugh at it. Trust me, laughter. Even though people tell you, "Oh, you look so fool laughing," I'm not just laughing at everything, and especially when I get attacked, I laugh more. Okay, and it's true. So when you laugh at it, you're actually sending it away. You're not accepting that negative energy. You're just shooing it away.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that. I've been looking at looking more into like vibration and frequency lately, not just mechanical vibration from like sound waves or anything like that on the physical level, but also like my vibration, like my gratitude. How is that affecting the world around me? My what I feel in my heart, and how I open myself up to other people. What kind of energy am I putting out there? I've been thinking a lot about that lately, and during my meditations, I've been trying to incorporate that more into my life to try to just really remember that, because I think for a long time in my life, I walk around with maybe like a lot of nervous energy or a lot of like worry or stress, and it's important to really take that time to focus on the vibration and energy that you're putting out there. And the more I learn about vibration and how things vibrate and about frequency, whether it's colors or like any type of electromagnetic energy that's coming from me or coming from the world, I think all of those things, I can't see them, but they're affecting me in some way. The rays from the sun, just all the energy around me. But what about my energy? What about the vibration that I'm putting out? How is that affecting me? How is that affecting other people? How is that affecting the planet? And so that's something that I've been trying to really focus on, and I've been using a lot of that in my meditation, not just with my energy, but also with sound, chimes and singing bowls and things like that, because I'm starting to realize more that vibration is something that's really powerful and is really affecting my life. So even like we were saying, with everything going on around us, what kind of energy are we putting out based on what's going on around us? Because when something is going on in the world and you are responding to it in a certain way, that energy, it has an effect on it. Your frequency, your vibration has an effect on it. And I think that's kind of a key, I think, to really being balanced and being stable, is remembering that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you mentioned, or one of you both mentioned, gratitude, and gratitude is such a powerful manifester. Really, I think it's a huge, powerful manifesting tool. And but lately, what I've been working on is also living in the now. And in particular, because I've gone through a lot of traumatic things in the last couple of years. Actually, this year's not as traumatic for me as others. And our body then learns to be in this constant, state of tension. And many people are going through that now. And so being in the now, I say, even with something as simple as brushing my teeth, for so many years I was under all this stress, and I would buy my toothbrush and within days it looked like this, because I was brushing my teeth. And I was a single mom for a while. Maybe I was doing a billion things, while I was brushing my teeth, thinking, or, I don't know, cleaning the sink while I'm doing this, And so it just, even with tiny things like that, like be really cognizant of, how you're brushing your teeth, and that's all you're doing right now. And then I think that a huge remedy or a healing, a tool for me is Pachamama, is grounding, is being in nature, is going for a walk where I can see green and where I can practice that being in the now, not on my phone, not thinking about anything else, but looking at the leaves, at the flowers, at the sky, and and that may be my meditation for the day, because maybe I'm too freaked out to actually sit and meditate, and in a more, I think that there's so many ways of meditation, like coloring is meditation, so many different ways of meditation. And I honor all of them. I've never been able to be the sit and meditate type. But at this moment, with the living in the now, and I think with everything that's going on, nature has been what I've been really focusing on and using as my practice, and it is a practice, because at least for me, where I work for myself, using social media quite a bit, getting messages all the time, and and you miss a message, you might miss a potential client, and it's a practice to put my phone away and go out for try to make it be an hour and just notice nature and connect and ground and make that my living in the now, noticing things, and it really helps with the rest of the day.
Yeah, and meditations in nature are just so much more powerful than anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
You become, when you go into nature, not only look at the plants and everything, but become it. You are the tree. How do you feel being the tree, running? You feel your feet. You are the roots. You are the leaves. How do you feel being those leaves? You're the bird that just become it, because we're not becoming. We are it anyways. We are it. But let's feel being that. So that even gets a little bit notched up than just sitting around looking at everything. Now, when you're out there, become it. Give it that try. It is fun. It feels like you feel so free when you do that. It's so nice. And like, I've been doing that. It's like, I love it.
That's why I like earthing when I hike.
Energy.
Earthing, yes, I love earthing.
I
Love it.
hike barefoot usually.
Yeah, me too. I've
feet.
climbed the pyramids in Mexico barefoot, and I go everywhere barefoot. I love it. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Well, the shoes is disconnecting us. Shoes are we all love our shoes, right? And they're comfortable to walk, but that's disconnecting us from earth. Just the shoe, simple. That is actually right there.
Well,
the shoe.
Think about what the sole is made out of. It's made out of rubber and insulated,
Rubber.
right?
Exactly.
So
yeah.
Disconnecting us.
Yeah, I remember I would go to the park, and there was this place in the park where I'd go sit, and I'd take my shoes off, and I'd sit in the shade, but I would always keep I would take my shoes off and put my feet in the sun, and just have them in the grass. And I remember how that felt, and I was like, wow, this just feels so good. And that reminded me of that, and I haven't done that in a while, so I have to get back into that. It's definitely connects you. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can even walk on gravel barefoot now.
Track athletes, because they're in their running shoes too much, it throws off their ability to feel the ground and to feel like their races and stuff. Which is why a sprinter, which is what I was, the shoe is so thin. It's like your own foot with spikes coming out of it, so that you could feel the ground, so you can feel your, the race. So a few times a week we have the kids without shoes, so that they can be in the grass and they can run around, and their foot can conform again to the earth, and they can feel the ground again, and then they remember how to run properly again, because the shoes throw off running and walking and
so Tara, I've never liked tennis shoes that are thick, and usually I don't know I'm not an athlete. I don't know anything. I did yoga and rode my bike. That was my athletics. So, but I like the shoes that have a very thin sole. The tennis, like Adidas, are my favorite. What kind of shoes are those? Are those like practice for sprinters?
So any shoe that has a thicker sole is meant to have more miles basically put on it. So the thicker the sole usually is like a walking or a running shoe, meant to stabilize the foot, which actually destabilizes it over a long period of time. But
right.
It does.
The thinner the sole, doesn't usually offer as much like arch support. So if you're going to be doing a lot of walking and ground pounding like that, it's not as shock absorbent for like joints and stuff like that, because everything travels up the body basically. But it is good to have a balance of like shoes and no shoes. For me, my mom always said I'm a heathen because I like I live in flip flops or I'm barefoot, because I don't do well in shoes unless they're really cute high heels. But anyway,
Yes,
Have you
yes.
have you ever driven your
I
Viper
agree.
without shoes? Because a lot of race car drivers don't wear shoes for that very reason. They want to feel the vibration of the car. They get more connected with the car, and so
Yeah,
that's
That's
the
how
same thing with the earth. You're more connected with
yeah.
the earth.
I
Well, you know
drive
what?
barefoot too.
This goes for the collective. Maybe somebody needs to create a pair of shoes that when you wear them, you're actually grounding. Boom.
I
They
think I've
have
seen
them.
those.
Yeah, they have them, and
You're
they're
48 hours
crazy
late.
expensive.
But what are they? I never heard about such things.
Well, there's a few, and they actually started coming out with them like in the 90s. And
I never
the first one I think was called something barefoot.
I
And
never.
so,
So when you put
yeah.
them on, you're actually grounding. You know how there's the grounding mats, right? And you put your feet on it, it grounds you. So when you put the shoes, you're actually grounding, like
So
the grounding mats. Are you familiar with the grounding mats, guys?
I
Yeah, I've seen
am,
those.
and yeah, I've seen them, and I think that I think it's those. I think so. I've seen them. I'll have to Google later, but I think
Yeah.
so.
I mean, I definitely will like a pair of shoes with those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think.
I
Well, like
ended
John.
up. Oh,
No,
sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say what I ended up doing was getting pool shoes. And I walk with pool shoes because those are almost like barefoot.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
with the grounding mat, you need to be bare feet in order to get the grounding. So no matter if it's a little material, you still don't ground. You have to be bare feet. And in order to
Oh, I
let's
see.
create a shoe that when you put it on, it actually grounds you. Grounds you like if you were walking on grass. I don't think that exists there because I don't care how much
No.
I want a pair. So whoever was going to invent it, let me know because I'm going to buy the first pair.
Yeah, I think like Jonathan was saying. I think like Jonathan was saying, you have that insulator, you have the rubber there, you have like the material from the shoe that's preventing that energy. But you could definitely use a different material and then have some sort of conductive material, like it's like some sort of metal or copper, not really like a metal sole, like a complete a complete
Yeah.
sole that's made up something hard, but just have some material within it that would help conduct that energy. I mean,
Yeah.
we do it with like wands. People have copper wrapped around crystals, and we know that it's a conductor. So there you go. So so we know that there's ways to conduct that energy, and I think that's totally possible.
You know what? I
I
do
just
like
need.
how you put the bracelets, the crystal bracelets. I put those on my ankle bracelets too, because that is helping me grounding. But I want their solid. You know what? The real way to ground yourself is actually go in the grass, lie down naked. But if you don't have your own private backyard, you'll get arrested if you do. So definitely
Okay, I found them. They're called earthing shoes.
night. I gotta look into
Grounding earthing
cool.
shoes.
Cool. I definitely want to look into that. That sounds so cool.
It says it has electrons from the ground into the body.
I have to look into this. I didn't even know that.
Grounding shoes.
Wow, that I
Mental
will
note.
definitely. But again, where your crystals, you put the crystals within you, carry them with you. That's helping you ground too. The crystals help a lot.
I always have my crystals.
Oh yeah, me too. You got them all over the place, crystals.
Everybody's got those.
You're lucky I don't have a
Wonder
camera.
Woman.
Mr. James has them on. We just can't see them.
Don't
This
let me-
ring's actually moldavite too, and I've been wearing it for like 16 years.
That's a
Beautiful.
pretty ring.
Well,
Yeah.
hands and night on.
Yeah. Yeah, I talk about that in my course. The way that the energy goes through passes through crystals, and
Yes.
how that
Oh,
works.
of course, Will?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's spirituality, science, and crystals, and so it's just kind of bridging that gap between those things, and really taking a step in the direction of looking at crystals in a way that I think just goes a little bit deeper. We're looking at, the geometry of crystals, not like the shape of crystals as far as like pyramids, skulls, and spheres, but actually looking at their unit cells. So unit cells are the smallest structure within a crystal. There's just different atoms that are coming together to form these geometric patterns. And so that type of structure has a sacred geometry associated with it. And so I'm looking at, okay, these structures and then associating it with spirituality through that geometry. And I think that that geometry plays out all around us. Like if you look at the hexagon, bees naturally use that as a way to save space, to maximize space, and it's also something that helps with like when you unscrew something, that torque and that power. And so that shape naturally has certain things inherent within it. And so that's what I'm discussing. I'm discussing, okay, well, how can you take this function, this structure and function that the earth naturally has for these shapes, and look at that, and then look at a crystal and say, hey, you have this within you. What does that mean? What does that mean for me when I'm working with this crystal? And so looking at it that way, because I found that, intuitively we can connect with crystals. Totally. I totally feel that way. But I've also found that sometimes what works for someone doesn't work for someone else, and there's no baseline. I can look at one website and it gives me certain metaphysical properties, and another website and it gives me totally different metaphysical properties. What do I feel based on what I'm naturally getting from observing this crystal and what it has within it, what its structure actually is, and so that's kind of where I'm going with it. Because you can always branch out and use your intuition. I totally feel that, but I also feel that if you want to start, just start at a base level. Look at the crystal, look at what it's telling you, look at what's within it, and that will help you branch out from there and use it in the way that best suits you. But I think by bringing these things together and looking at how crystals work, how does that energy work? What's the piezoelectric effect? How does that work with a crystal? How do those vibrations work? What's happening with a crystal when you apply some sort of mechanical force to it or some type of vibration or energy to it? What does that do to the structure of the crystal? And how does that affect the energy you put into it? Like we cleanse crystals, we use heat. That's moving atoms around within the crystal. And so the things that we do we realize what we're doing to the crystal that might be clearing out that energy there? How is it affecting it? And I want to look at that. I'm interested in looking at that, and that's what I've kind of put together in the course is a way of looking at, okay, what crystals do you have, and what category do they fit in based on if they're hexagonal, if they're cubic or trigonal. What kind of crystal is it, and what kind of energy are you really around? You might have a collection of crystals, and they might all be hexagonal silicates. Why is that? What are you attracted to, or what are you bringing into your life that is affecting you in a certain way, or what if you're looking for a type of energy and you're not really sure where to start? And so that's kind of what I'm doing there. I just feel like that's something that has kind of been missing, and I just feel like it's really important. And my whole course is like patterned after Nikola Tesla and what he said about crystals. I have a bunch of quotes from him and what he said about, them being living beings and things that he stepped out and said about them. I feel like it's important to embrace that. And so I think this is a step at embracing that. And I know that a lot of people have a hard time reconciling, science and spirituality. But I just feel like it's important to have that balance, because the main quote that starts out at the beginning of this course is what he said about when scientists start looking at the non-physical, we'll make more progress in 1 decade than we've made in hundreds of years. And so I feel like that's really true. And so that's kind of what it's about, and just a small snapshot of what it's about.
I want to take this course now.
I definitely do.
Yes.
That sounds fascinating.
Yeah, so for my course, I kind of really resonated with what you said. One of the things that I wanted to get through in my crystal class was that these aren't just inanimate objects. Not only do these crystals have consciousness, they're more like people. we can interact with them. We can learn from them. Like you can contact the higher self of the crystal. You can speak to the ego of the crystal. You can, talk to the oversoul of amethyst, right? And get information from amethyst as a whole, just for an example. So with my course, I wanted to delve more into the metaphysics of it. And there's so many different ways to interact with crystals. There's, passive ways where you just have it on your desk and you're getting the energy from it, or it's blocking EMFs or whatever the crystal may do. But there's so many deeper ways that we can work with crystals, and that's really what I wanted to get across. So my course is a lot more meditation focused, and it's a lot more about connecting with the crystal in your own unique way, because there's just so many ways that we can do it. And for me to say, oh, this is how you connect with crystals, it's just going to not apply to everyone. So I wanted to really get across the fact that you can interact with these consciousnesses on a much deeper level, and it's going to be so unique for you that it's going to be such a crazy adventure. So I wanted to really include meditations. Like my class is very meditation focused because in my experience, that's one of the best ways to interact with the crystals. And that's one of the ways that we can speak to them and have conversations with them and learn from them. And it's not just, oh, the rose quartz makes me feel more loving, which it does, right? It opens up the heart chakra, but you can also gain information from the rose quartz if you're able to speak with it and interact with it and connect with it deeper. So that's kind of what I was going for, which, kind of really meshes well with Will's course, because I wanted to talk about the science of crystals, but I just wanted to brush over it really quickly because Will knows so much more about that than I do. But it's so important to have that foundation of how do crystals really, what is the science of them? What are they? And then, marry that information with, well, how can I dive into them on a metaphysical level?
I can add to my course now. This is with you two. I can also tell you about my course. Mine is love spell. Love spell. Now, love spell for every kind of love. Divine love, your own self-love. Love to attract the true love, attract the other soulmate. And so it's my love spells, all kinds of love. And so in my love spell, I will use crystals. I will use as earth energy. We're going to connect to water. We're going to connect to fire. We're going to connect to air, spirit, ancestors, and everything. We're going to learn how to connect and become and know who we are in that, because you don't just do a spell. You need to learn how you can bring that magic within you and how to elevate your love within yourself. We need to learn how to love ourselves. That is so important. And so before we can attract anything to do with love, we need to learn how to wake that up within ourselves. And that's why I use all the elements. I believe all of you guys have all those elements that I'm going to use in the course. Again, it's little steps, baby steps, and it takes you at the end to I have a lot of spells there. We're going to learn how to use the water to spell. And I actually want to give you guys a freebie today. It's very easy. Get a glass of water. I like my bottled water. Make sure it's glass, okay? Write down a piece of paper. Let's say I'm going to focus on love today, but anything that I do in that love spell class, you can do it for anything. Money, health, wealth, anything you want. But of course, we're focusing on love, but you can use it for anything you want. But like I said, I'm going to say, I love myself. I love the universe. I am love. You're going to put that into you, water. You're going to talk to your water. I love myself. I love the universe. And I am love. When you're in that, you can actually manifest. When you are in the love energy, you can attract everything that is loving. Everything. I'm talking about everything. The love is the biggest weapon, the best weapon that you can have, especially now. It's the love weapon. That's the biggest and most stronger weapon. Okay, no guns, no not, but the love. I cannot emphasize how important that is for you to be able to connect with the whole universe and attract anything that you want. And of course, when you are in that base love, everything is beautiful. No, you don't have any hate for anybody. You don't have any jealousy for anybody. Everybody's. You respect everybody, and you are in the love. You don't see when you're in the love energy. You don't choose to poke on yourself and criticize yourself, because you are whole, you know that you're loved. The biggest weapon, guys. So here you go. You get to your water, you talk to the water, you grab it. I'm loved. I love the universe. I love everything. I love myself. I am loved. Okay. You're going to repeat a couple times. You're going to write it down here. And your water is charged. Okay. Water is one of the most powerful energies to work with. So simple, right? But we are 75% water. When we drink that water that we charged, okay, with our energy of what we want, the intention that we want, we bring that into ourselves. And we every day when you take a sip or every time you take a sip, you repeat, I am love. I am I am love. You repeat what you wrote in there, okay? Or if, let's say, let me give you guys, you want to attract your true love, like divine love. You're going to say, thank you, universe. I have my soulmate already with me. I'm so happy. And I love him and he loves me. It's already happened. It's already yours. And you play that movie in your head that he's with you already, how he looks, the movie. And before you drink, you're going to play that movie in your head and drink your water. And you know what? You can do a big jar if you want, if you don't want to be doing little bottles. I have little bottles. Each bottles have different things. This one here is that I am a powerful being. I am a healthy, happy, a millionaire, right? You can do that too. Alrighty. So again, love spells is for love, but you can use it for anything you want. It's gonna be, you're gonna have the variety of that. And then when you go to learn about the crystals, you can implement those crystals into the spells that we do too. In this case, you could also add a rose quartz inside your water too, because that would vibrate love too. We're doing the love water right now, right? In your case, but this is just a little freebie for you guys, so you guys can try it. And you're gonna feel the minute you do it within a week, 2 weeks. Give it about 2 weeks to start feeling. You're gonna feel a little bit different within yourself. You're gonna feel more loving. You're gonna feel less fear. You're gonna be more in the love base because you're doing this every day when you drink your water. You're repeating that to yourself and you're changing your subconscious and you're changing your inner what you're drinking. Now, one warning though, if you already created your water, right, with the love, if you end up having an argument on the phone with somebody or an argument with somebody else, that water is going to turn into the argument. So be aware of your water. Give it love. And whenever you're about to be triggered to be angry or something, breathe and go back to the love base. Practice that. Be aware that water is going to remind you, wait a minute, you're going into the other side, stay in the love base, you know? Because you know that if you do that, your water will shift into that negative stuff that you want to drink and you don't want to drink that. That's poison, right? But that's what I'm all about. I'm going to help you guys how to connect with the water, with everything as we move into being able to do spells. Again, spells is not just a bunch of things that you put together. The spells are, like you see, we use wands, we use crystals, we use earth, but really it's just a tool to help us focus. Eventually, you don't need none of that stuff because the magic is within you. But because we're so entertained with so many things in the planet, we need something to focus on, to keep our focus on it. But eventually you can get out of it and you can just think it, you know, you don't even need to do anything. So that is my course. There we go.
So interesting how our courses kind of connect in different ways.
And
Yes.
As you were speaking, I thought of things, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense.
it's fine,
Yes.
right? We all each,
I was thinking because, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was thinking just because when you said, we don't need things and everything, and, we make things
Yeah.
for, that's like our business, making things for your altar, images and everything. And it goes along with, like I was saying, with the Andean spirituality that is, it's beautiful because it's not really, it's free. It's more like chaos magic, right? So I love that they talk about you just take whatever you want and whatever you need to create, your spiritual practice. And part of that is, like I was saying, creating your own universe to manifest, and having an altar. And on your altar, of course, is where you practice spells. And so, I'll be teaching about rituals, which use crystals.
Yes.
And how to work your altar, which is, creating spells at your altar. So, Jonathan, you're I don't know what you're teaching and how
I'm actually teaching how to create ancestral
Oh,
altars
you too.
as well as tapping
You
into
all
our
at this
past
one.
lives.
That's so cool.
Oh, neat. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so my course is basically using the tarot to tap into our ancestral knowledge as well as creating altars for our ancestors and tapping into our past lives, which still might be
neat.
affecting this life, and being able to clear those old patterns.
Oh, beautiful.
That don't serve
I'm
us
putting
anymore.
together a ritual now for next week for Dia de los Muertos to do that very thing, which is something that not many people understand, and that reconnection and remembering of our ancestors, actually just honoring them brings so much healing, just bringing them back into our now, even for that little bit. And
Honoring on them, yeah.
yeah, and I was thinking too about when you were talking about portals earlier, how this, right now it's such a powerful time for us to be, very, very cognizant of these portals, and to be working and doing all these beautiful things that we have available to us in so many different ways, but especially working with the ancestors.
You can even invoke an ancestor or like a god's or goddess energy. You can invoke, like I like to invoke in Yamaya, Hathor, and also Oshun. I like invoking them because I like their power. And they're one of the goddess that I really look up to. And that's why I'm wearing blue today, because today I came with Yamaya, the goddess of the ocean energy, to purify and cleanse. So anybody who's here, like, let everybody be purified and cleansed. And that's, you invoke that power of that goddess. Because again, the portals, you are it, you can be it. And if you were your past of your life, you were one of them, you can just bring it back into who you are now. So it's so good, all this that you guys are talking about it, is because all together.
It is. I wish I could.
Guys.
Yeah.
They're all going to help you, honestly.
I'm also going to teach tarot spreads specifically for talking with your ancestors. So.
Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful.
Beautiful.
Well, I have my oracle cards. So
tarot or oracle, and just a spread that you can use specifically for communication. Right.
Oh, beautiful. Love it. Love it. I guess I'll show my old oracle card deck. But I would like to, if that's okay, invite everybody this evening. If you're interested, there's going to be an unboxing, because Tara received the Oracle deck. I didn't even know that it was out in the US, because the publisher told me that I'm not the publisher, but the person who brings it to the US told me that they would not be available until distributor. Thank you. I'm living in Spanish right now, and it gets Oh, thank you.
Oh, I want to have that too.
I'll show you the version that I have, but because I'm in Chile, I'm not going to get mine until like probably December. And they told me January, and then I see I was at we have to make lines for everything now. So I was in line at a doctor's office, all serious, and I'm like, oh, and my aunt was like, shit. I was like, no, it's and I had to run out, and I thought, oh, and then Tara was so sweet to give me a personal preview on Instagram on the private, so I could see. But I don't know which Mary Magdalene they chose, because I painted two, and I was so excited, Tara, when you were showing it to me. I was really trying to be aware that to see which one it was, but I didn't. And then they disappear, when you send videos on Instagram. You see them one time and then they disappear.
There's different ways in Instagram. I'm still trying to learn. I don't know. Tara does something that I don't know. I haven't learned that yet, but there's other way that you can upload videos too. So there's a couple ways that you can do
Yeah,
it.
if you
But
if you
she
take a
sent them.
photo, if you take a photo or video with your camera phone and then put it on Instagram, it stays. But if you take the photo with Instagram's app, it disappears.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow, thank you. Wow, they chose that one. I'll show you the second one.
those cards are beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
you know,
really
Tara,
nice.
you and
I
we
love
have
the
the same
colors.
taste. We
Awesome.
have the same taste. You know what?
This was the other Mary Magdalene that they could choose from. So I didn't know. I didn't know which
I like
one
that
they
one.
had chosen.
That one's gorgeous.
So
I love the one. Why would
thank
they not
you.
choose that one?
I
That's
don't know. I
beautiful.
thought they would choose this one, but that's okay. It's okay. I have in the store.
We
We have both.
idea. You can create just a card for that if people wants to order the a special edition. They have
Yes.
Magdalene.
Yes.
There you go.
There you go. I'll show you the old deck that I have so you see the difference.
How was your dessert?
I love the way she uses colors. It's so rich.
So,
Yes.
oh, thank you. So this was a self-published Kickstarter deck, and then the editor chose to change the color. The new ones are much bigger than these.
Oh wow.
And then also they changed the front. I like how they did it better actually. And they also added numbers to each card. So, but these were all designed by us. The original book was, I do like that we had gold. And the original book has all kinds of mistakes. And so I'm excited that, I had editors to do this. So
Of course.
it's exciting.
That looks so beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Thank you, Tara. I'm so glad that it was you that posted them. I know that there's a review on YouTube already, but I don't want to watch it until I see the unboxing tonight.
That's beautiful. Gorgeous.
Thank
I
you.
have to get that deck. So you can get it on Amazon already? Is it Amazon or
Get it in our store.
where's your store?
Yeah, that's the better thing to do.
Yeah,
is
I was
order
wondering.
direct.
Yes. It's
I'll ask Tara later on.
it's Olivos. I have here my name. It's Olivos Art
Evo's
Studio.
Art Studio. Is it
Yes,
.com?
thank you. Yes, thank you.
It's funny because I do have this book. I have this book, The Fairies, the Fairy Magical Tea is on Amazon as well. But you know what? I have a club where people can get the download for free. So I always encourage them to go to it's even cheaper, and they got a club and they have all the things. Then Amazon, you never see anything from Amazon, right? You don't see nothing. I think Amazon keeps whatever they sell on it. They keep it. And I'm like, I was planning to whatever I sell this, or even when the club, whatever I do, that is going to go for to give it to the poor children in Guatemala because I help them. So everything about this book goes to them, but I haven't seen nothing from Amazon, so I don't even know how that works. It's really
Yes.
hard. I understand when you say go to your totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I'm gonna go click on that later on, and I'm gonna go place an order.
Thank you.
That's for sure.
And I guess since I'm going to be teaching altars and rituals, I guess I would like to show you. I'm renting a place, and so my altar is weird, weird setup, but sort of to show you my little altar, and I'm on the computer too, and so I can give you a little bit of a peek at my altar, and so that's something that is really important, I think, to our spiritual lives, to have an altar.
Yes, it is. And again, like I said earlier, we need to have this to focus our energy on it because we're so taken away by so many energy. We need focus.
Right.
We need to
Yes.
focus. and that
That's
helps
what I
us.
was. That's what I was going to say. Focus, and I unfocused.
Mhm.
that the whole thing from this teaching about creating your own universe and working your altar is exactly about that. So even if it's stones that you're using, whatever it is, you're bringing that energy down to focus and to create like a story.
Yes, absolutely. It helps you a lot. It does.
Mm-hmm.
I have altars all over the house.
Me too. I have
Yes, me
many
too.
altars. I have
Yeah, me too.
many altars.
Yes,
I
yes.
have my Egyptian altar. I got my oh God, don't let me start. I'll never end.
Mhm.
I
I
got too many
know.
crystals to have more than one altar.
Yeah. I didn't know that ever since I was little, I was creating altars, but I didn't know that that's what I was doing.
Me
You
too.
know,
Yeah,
Hmm.
true. Mhm. It's so true.
everywhere they,
Well,
and
how about
it's a beautiful thing.
Tara?
Yeah,
What's
it's
your
interesting.
course about? Tara, you've been so quiet. She's just listening. Come on, talk. Your turn to
I'm
talk.
listening to you guys.
We want to hear you too.
Well, hold on. Let me put my my own thing in the
There you
chat.
go.
So hold on. So okay, so my course is Mayan astrology, also known as Mayan destiny chart, but I put Mayan astrology. Most people probably understand that because that's basically what it is. So let me just put this.
And you guys know that we are really on 2012 right now, according to the Mayan, right? The real year right now is 2012. It's not 2020, it's 2012. So you guys know the Romans changed the calendar from the Mayan. So you know.
Yeah, so Mayan astrology, I mean, it's something that I've done, but I never like really share it with people too much, just because it's not as prevalent as you would see like other forms of astrology and people asking like, "What's your sign?" and stuff like that. So not a lot of people are talking about their naguales and stuff. So it's like but I had done a destiny chart for friends and family, and actually did one for James, and he had mentioned, oh, like that should be something that you should put in your shop, and I'm like, yeah, but not a lot of people like understand it unless somebody taught them, and I was like, oh wait, I could teach them. But what it is, it's not so much, I mean, it's called a destiny chart, but it's not so much a predictive, like this is what's going to happen and futuristic type stuff. It's saying here's a roadmap and here's what you could do based on the energies that are present around you, present in your past, present in your current present reality, both the masculine and feminine energies in your life, and how that plays into the energies that surround us each day, each month, and each year, because they use 13 numbers, and then they have 20 day signs, which are basically like spirit guides for each day. And because there's an uneven number of spirit guides to numbers, because a 13 day is like or a 13 days is like their almost like a week, like the end of like the week after 13 days. I mean, if you want to break it down like that. And so these day signs, these deities, match up with different numbers all the time, and so it takes a long time before the day sign matches up with that same date again. Usually, like in 52 years, that'll happen again, just due to how everything cycles. And the whole thing is about cycles and knowing that there isn't a beginning and end, and and for people to say there's a beginning and end to their chart, it's difficult because it's round. Where do you find a beginning and end in a round chart? And seeing that the human life is also cyclical, and there's various numbers that are very spiritual type numbers, and days that they would consider more spiritual. So if you were planning on doing something on a certain day, you would consider the energies of that day. It's not to say you can't do certain things, but just based off the energy that you exude, the energy of the number day itself, and the day sign that rules over it, as well as the ruler of that week and the ruler of that month and the ruler of that year. because there's a lot of all these different hierarchies. And it's just really fascinating, you know, that they can all play into it. And you can really see every day is not just like, oh, tomorrow's Sunday. It's like, oh my gosh, like, do you know the energy of tomorrow? Like, you know, I could probably do this, or tomorrow, just based on I know my energy, probably a good rest day. Actually, tomorrow is a good rest day, just FYI. So yeah, so that's I mean, in a nutshell, I mean, there's a lot that goes with it, but just in a nutshell, it's just being able to utilize the energy around you to make it more magical. And so, and the Maya did also have, it was basically two calendars. So one of them was considered more of a spiritual calendar when you want to do all your stuff and, you know, and all that, and doing compatibilities, and also the divination is a huge part of it. So even though we may not have tsetse seeds, which are not legal in the United States, we do have other forms of divination, you know, that we apply to the chart, but they also had a sun chart as well. And so the sun chart is more closely aligned with our 365-day chart calendar that we're familiar with. And that was more for everyday life. So it's like pairing your everyday life calendar with the spiritual calendar and knowing that they're interconnected and they're not separate. It's not like, oh, there's that woo-woo stuff and then there's like real life. You're like, no, all of it's real life and it's connected. And with their 5 days, the last 5 days are considered rest days. Like, you're not supposed to do anything on the last 5 days of the year. And it's kind of unlucky to be born on those last 5 days of the year. So it's like, if they're like, if ladies, if you can hold in the baby just a little longer, the last 5 days. But yeah, I mean, it's all sorts of stuff, and I even show you how to do compatibility charts if you want to. You not necessarily like for like love, but just like, you know, with coworkers and like their energies, you know, with your energy, and nothing is 100% because, you know, people are unpredictable by nature, you know, so it's more just this is at a glance how the energies could work together if you pair these two people together. But you know, we have free will. So again, that's all played out into the chart. So yeah,
I mean,
that's my
I
card.
can vouch for this because she gave me a reading, and I don't know anything about Mayan astrology. And I've had, you know, readings in the past, and some things would be spot on, some things would be a little vague. But the reading she gave me was so on point that even I was blown away. Like, I could not believe the things that she was pulling from this reading that I've never told anyone, that, you know, are deep things about myself. And so I can totally vouch for it. I don't know where she learned how to do this, but it is incredible.
Well, thank you.
That's awesome.
But yeah, and it's, you know, but it's something that you could, you know, that's why I want to teach it. It's something that other people can learn how to do as well. You know, it's not
Awesome.
not
I like that. So I was born on December 28th. I guess my mom got it right. Just the 5 days between the 5 days of the last day. Yeah, that's too funny. I had to be silly.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
always oh, geez.
So my day sign is a how.
Yours is the what?
A how?
Oh, okay. Oh no, I couldn't hear you. Did you say owl?
Oh, yeah,
No,
yeah.
a how.
How?
Right.
Oh,
The-
really?
My galactic tone is 8, and my Trikana sign is Kane.
See, I'm 5 Akbal, and Akbal is the first daylight. So it's when things begin anew. It was supposed to be like the first light of this earth. Because we do believe that God created this earth.
Oh, excuse me, hold on.
What is going on there?
Wild dog.
Ancestors or something.
I'm sorry, yes. Sorry, I have a puppy, and I'm in an apartment. And another dog came by, and she almost ran out the door. That was open.
Oh, geez.
So
But yeah,
It's an adventure.
And five is the most impatient of all the numbers. Like I need everything to be happening 5 minutes ago, and I need to be the first to do everything in my life. I can't it's like life doesn't move fast enough for me.
I'm the same.
So,
I learned to control that because I wanted to do today what I can do 5 years from now. It has to be now. But it's 5 years, no, and no, now. So I had to control that because I'm a lot like you in that sense that I'm also like one of those people who like to be punctual. I'd rather be early than late. And being punctual, it's being honoring yourself and honoring others. So it is important. A lot of people don't have that nowadays, that if they make an appointment, they try everything in the last right. Okay, if the appointment is at 4 o'clock, at 4 o'clock, they're driving home to the appointment. They're not home waiting for the appointment. They're driving home to go to, let's say it's an online appointment. Oh, it's 4 o'clock. Okay, I'm going to drive now. But meanwhile, the other person is waiting. That's a courtesy. And it's also energy, too, of how you honor others and honor yourself. It is an energy. And, that's why I'm very about punctuality. It's not that it's the punctual, it's the fact that you're honoring somebody else, you're respecting somebody else's time and energy, and same as you also being honorable yourself that way. So, but most of the people nowadays, what they're doing, okay, we got an appointment at 4 o'clock on via Zoom, let's say, or 4 o'clock, they tell you, oh, I'm still driving home to go to the Zoom. It's like, okay, alrighty, but the way you need to devise that is if you take 5 minutes before the 4 o'clock and you tell the person, I'm going to be late or something. Now you're okay. No, so if you tell them 5 minutes before, you are in a safe line. You're in the vibration of good vibration. But if you tell them right at 4 o'clock, that you broke the rules of the vibration of rolling with the flow. So there's a lot of universal laws and vibrations that if we need to learn, and a lot of people don't know about it. Nobody tells you about it. They don't teach you that.
Well, also with like the Mayan astrology too, I forgot to mention, but like not only like the month and the trecena, and the the one oversighting like the day and all this, but it's also the time of day. Each has its own energy, and also the moon phase that we're in, and so all that's taken into account. So if you think somebody has a Zoom at 4 o'clock, there's a particular energy that's going on at 4 o'clock. And so you might start thinking, which is why it makes it so magical, because you're thinking, I have these things scheduled at these certain times. And sometimes we force action in times when it should be rest in certain parts of the day. And so it makes it more difficult. So it's like you're trying to swim upstream.
Yeah, I noticed that on the email that you sent us, you broke it down into different days and times, and that was really cool. I noticed that about this meeting when you did that.
That was just
make sure we understood, right? We're all different time hours here. Yeah, that was really cool. Yes.
Yeah, I have to say that what you were saying about living always and trying to plan everything ahead and everything, it's that's part of the living in the now that I've been learning about. Like right now, I have no idea where I will be living in January, when I'll be going back to the U.S. So it's been a very conscious practice for me, for example, not to be freaking out looking for where I'm going to be in January. I made one phone call to one realtor. I said, I need a place like this, and I'm concentrating on my book and living in the now, and just really letting go of like what's coming ahead. And it's been sort of like a problem for me, always wanting to know what's going to happen. And I think a lot of that sometimes for us, it's a little bit of a defensive mechanism, to kind of be prepared just in case also. So there's fear involved in that we need to realize and come to terms with and learn to flow and ease into things. And it has to do with trust and hope and all those things that are under the umbrella of love rather than under the umbrella of fear.
That's the root chakra, right? The root chakra gets thrown out of whack because the root chakra goes into the survival mode, right? The fear, and that's why we
Yes.
drown ourselves. We're not going to go there. But you're in a good place, to be honest with you. I think you're better off than being in the United States and Chile. Just letting you know. So you're more than that. But you know what? The divine ancestors are taking good care of you. Where you are actually is in a better place. So go with the flow completely.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
Yes.
And plus, everything is going to change by January. I
I
feel
was
it.
reading a comment from Emily, and she was talking about her babies, and she said that her daughter was 13 days overdue, and her son was 11 days overdue, and she was talking about coincidences and stuff like that. And so that's another thing they look into is surrounding when you're born. Like babies that are premature, like my like a couple months premature. And for me, I was born in infant distress because my umbilical cord was choking me and I was like half dead, basically. Had to bring me back to life. So like I've always got one foot in, one foot out all the time.
That's funny because when I was born, I had the umbilical cord wrapped 3 times around my neck and once around my ankles.
You know what? They wanted to stop a beautiful energy to come into the planet because you guys were coming with the truth of all this. They wanted to stop you from coming to do your mission because your mission is important, right? And so to help, like this whole thing that we're doing here together will help many. Those who actually decide to go, you know what, I'm going to join that. They're going to help themselves by investing in themselves. And we're offering that help, to guide you. We're still learning. Like I'm still learning. I will never stop learning, right? But we all are continuing learning. But as we continue elevating, we know that we don't know. That's basically is. But when we guide you into you starting going into that direction. So Tara, they wanted to stop you from coming here. So, but you fought. You were that, that warrior of light says, no, that's my mission.
My father always changed my name at the last second too, because they had to sign, my birth certificate and my time and of birth and all of that. And my mom had wanted me to be Bridget because she thought Bridget Bardot was so beautiful. She wanted to be like Bridget Bardot. And so my mom was like, whatever, out of it. So my dad had to be the one to write my name. And my dad didn't want me to have a middle name because Filipino kids don't have middle names, but they needed to have one. So my mother put her maiden name as my middle name. And so my dad was like, all of a sudden, he's like, her name's going to be Tara. So he just like crossed out Bridget and like put Tara. I was like, thank God. I don't like Bridget.
That's funny.
You talk to
You
your
just
dad.
lost 12 subscribers.
You told Dad, change that name.
Oh, God, that name sucks.
Tara, I was named after Claudia Cardinale.
Oh,
So Bridget Bardot, yeah.
And my name was really odd because I'm half Italian, half Spanish, and normally they want to put the name for the grandmothers. My father just says Diane. No middle name, no nothing. I was the only one who had no middle name, no, just Diane Caputo. There you go. That's the only name. And of course, Arenas is my mom's name. So Diane Caputo Arenas. I got the Italian, the Spanish, but my plain name, Diane. Nobody in my family has like more known than Maria, Conchetta, but Diane was the only one that she goes. And my dad says because the name Diane means divine. And that's why I call myself divine in love because it's divine. And so, hey, I take it. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I'm glad he did not put the same names as everybody else. Yes.
My mom wanted an Irish name because my mom's half Irish. And so she was like, I'm going to have little Irish kids. And my dad's like, those are going to be the brownest little Irish kids you've ever seen because we got islands of black, baby. So
I have 2 Irish grandmas.
There's a bunch of Irish expats in Mexico, right? There's like,
Yeah.
like 100 years ago.
Yeah, I have two Irish grandmas, Tara, also. And I just have the freckles from the Irish. That's it. you know.
I was called Jonathan because my grandmother always wanted a son, but had nothing but daughters.
Oh yeah, my mom was like, she says, well, because she looked up and she was at least happy that it was an Irish name, and and she was like, well, she goes, there's a famous hill, in Ireland that's named Tara, where it's supposed to be like all this like spiritual stuff and like where peace was brought and everything, and so I was
I've been there.
because I was like, I'm named after a hill.
It's beautiful, Tara, though. I've been there. Very magical.
It has beautiful symbolism, though.
Well, yeah, now I look it up and I'm like,
yeah,
well, it's not that bad. I like it. And like a lot of my students, because I have a lot of Middle Eastern students, and Tara is a Middle Eastern name, but it's also an Indian name too. And so when they would see my name on their transcript, and they were like, they said, Miss, like, do you know what your name means? Like, it is the star. Like, you are the guiding light. Like, they said that's what it means in our culture. And they're like, and also, they said it's very beautiful. There's this lady. She's very famous. And then they look at my last name, which is basically, it translates to Egypt. So they're like, if you put your name together, Miss, it's the land of Egypt. And I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, I was named after my dad, but like my parents, they didn't think anything of it. But now the more I look at my name, it's a very like Aries name to me because it's will and then I am. I am is the saying for Aries, so it kind of fits all of that. And so I'm an Aries. And I was like, wow, okay, that really works. And I've always I've never really identified that much with Aries, and I always thought over the years, I'm like, I'm not really like that, but now that I look at it more and I try to understand a little bit more about my chart, I kind of realize that, yeah, it does fit depending on what house you look at and how everything fits together. But yeah.
Oh, I can relate. Oops, sorry.
I was saying, Will, like my will is my will is my will, my free will. Kind of like I was thinking of your name of that.
Yeah.
You're
and
it.
It's interesting because when I started my channel, I was talking a lot about sovereignty and like not being a victim and all this stuff. I'm like, why am I saying this?
It's your will.
And then like it was coming out like for some reason. And I looked at my name. I was like studying in my chart. I was like, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm in eighth house Aries, so and I was like, okay, that deals with the cult. So I'm like, I'm kind of always been one of those persons that's looked at anything that's hidden or anything forbidden, and I've been like, I'm gonna do that. I don't care. People can say it's bad. They can ridicule me. I'm like, I'm going for it. And it's like, if you try to stop me, it's like, then I end up kind of pushing back, and I sort of like disassociate with anyone that kind of gets in the way of that.
It's so Aries.
Yeah.
The minute you tell me don't go there, okay, don't go where? Okay, let me go there now. Where you tell me not to go, I'll go. Don't tell me no, because that I will want to do more. So definitely, yeah, no. Oh boy, that's too funny.
I'm always like a quiet rebellion. People will be like, "Oh, you can't do that," and I'm like, "Oh, okay," and I just like turn around, just quietly do it.
Yeah,
what I was going to say, Will, about your name with my name, I've been living in the U.S. most all my life, and I'm not really sure what is the first and second name and how it's used. But to me, my mom always said you just use your second. So your first name is like your saint name, or And so my name is Maria Claudia. So Mary is my first name. But I never liked that, and so I've always just used Claudia Olivos or Claudia Olivos, which is like on the cover there, and how I sign everything, and And now since I've been in Chile, they call me Maria because they go by the first name. And at first I was I didn't really quite like it, And then it hit me, that's Mary's name. That's Mother Mary that I have here. That Mother Mary was my first introduction into the spiritual since I was little, into having a connection with spirit. And Mother Mary is the first of the paintings that I did for the cards. But I just realized a few months ago. I'm like, I didn't make that connection. I had a real disconnection with my own name.
Mm-hmm.
I had, it's really, and yet it's so powerful. So it's really interesting how, these things that are,
Yeah,
that
it is interesting how they
it,
play out like that.
it is
yeah,
interesting that the programs work so you disconnect yourself from your higher spirit.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, exactly. How the programs work.
yeah, big
Exactly.
time, big time. Because you didn't want to do that name for a certain reason because what was everyone going to think? I don't like because it's blah blah blah. But then at the end, really, you're disconnecting. It's a way.
It was a huge connection. Yeah, it was there all the time. And I've
The
never,
system is brilliant, though. The system is brilliant because what happens? They don't do nothing for you. They don't, but they program you so you self-destroy yourself by free will. Nobody touches
yes.
you, nobody does, but you do it yourself. You understand?
Well,
We do it ourselves.
well, part of it too was, and I don't know if this is not okay to say here, but I'm just going to say it because it's true. But part of it was that when we moved to the U.S., my mom and my stepdad became evangelicals. And so Mother Mary, it's written in my book, in my little guidebook. So, which is when the editors got my guidebook and they went through everything and they were correcting a lot of things that were, um, like grammar, switch this or switch that. But there was nothing that they said take out except this. And I said, I'm not taking this out, which is when they moved to the US, it brings up my whole throat chakra, all that energy. They became evangelical. See, I'm even going to cry. And I was not allowed to have a relationship with Mary
Wow.
or anything.
Wow.
And it was through a lot of pain and a very broken relationship with my Earth mother, who never mothered me. That I took a course on angels, and this is really funny, but I took a course on angels, and then I happened to be in Mexico when I was doing the course, and we were all meditating and inviting the angels to come, and Mary came. I was like, that's because I'm in Mexico, so it's angels I'm supposed to be bringing here. Oh, and there was a rose that appeared because I was having this talk with the universe. I was like, I'm supposed to be receiving angels, and Mary keeps coming up, and I know it's because I'm in Mexico, so send me the angels. And then white roses appeared in the pool. I remember looking that up and seeing that it was signs from Mary, and it was around New Year's, and we went to get in Mexico. They fill these effigies and burn them. It's a tradition. And so we went shopping for them, and the person that was selling them had a whole bunch of little statues of Mary. And I just went up to them and I'm like looking because I've got Mary there, and I'm looking at them, and she's like, you can have them. And I said, oh, that's okay, thank you. And she's like, you can have them all because you see they're cracking, some of the paint's coming off, and I'm just going to throw them away. And says, you're looking at them, you can have them. And I was like, what am I going to do with, I don't know, like 14 little Mary sculptures? But and it was obviously a sign. So I took them, and I remember getting back and thinking, okay, I get it. It's Mary, and then when I went back to the States, I painted this piece back here, which eventually became the deck. So, very powerful to have erased Mary from my spiritual practice, from even my name. Yeah.
Do you believe that you share a soul with her? Like you share like a higher self, perhaps?
I don't know. I know that I have a connection with Mary, but I feel a connection with a lot of the different energies when I work with them. So, like right now, I'm feeling this year I have felt a real deep connection with Hecate, and I'm preparing to do a ritual with her next week. And yeah, so but with Mary and Pachamama that I have here, I was just talking to somebody about connections, you know, and how, I don't know, is it that? I don't know.
Well, I feel like when like an ascended master comes forth and is such a force in your life, that you have a connection with them that's more than, you know, ego. Like you might share an oversoul, you might share a higher self. You are her in some. It's at some point in the line. You are her, is what I believe.
I agree with you. Yes, true. That's why I say you can invoke that goddess is the ancestor master to be in, because we are actually projecting, reflecting here everything that we are, right? And so we are all, basically, we're all one. So we are the one, especially if you're really connected to them, you are them. So it is just bring it down, bring it down. And you're doing that. You're doing by doing, you're bringing it down. But now you can have a deeper connection, knowing this, that. You can go further. So it's really, I agree with that. Yes, definitely. It's powerful. That's how powerful we
Beautiful.
are.
It is very powerful. Yeah.
Everybody watching here, you guys are powerful. You just need to discover who you are, you know? And so once you start discovering this, it's like, woohoo, never ending. Oh my God, it's opening. It's like, and your book never ends. It's a book that never has an ending, because you start learning more about yourself and keep flipping that page, and there is no ending because it keeps going.
Yeah, there's so many connections. Like, for example, with the goddess, I have always felt also a really deep connection to Mary Magdalene, especially since I was a teen. I think, you know, a lot of that being misunderstood and being mislabeled, and you know, and then as a mom, I've had a whole huge strong connection with Yemaya, you know, and then as someone discovering how powerful magic is, you know, and spells, then Hecate. So, you know, it has to do too with how we journey. The goddess Unag, who's for creative solutions, I worked with her for a while with the energy, and that's how it brought me through this really weird way to come to manifest what I was so, you know, yearning for. So I think that I think that we have all these different connections that we can tap into, and they're so available to us through all these different tools, you know, through tarot, through astrology, through the crystals, through working your altar, and what you're saying, that, you know, we've been kept from it when we've been working at it since the very beginning of time, just by making a teeny little sculpture out of clay, and and we're worshiping it and making that, you know, so yeah, very powerful. So it's a joy and an honor to be here with you all.
And it's how you see it, guys. A lot of people will think that whatever we do here is demonized and all negative, but it's not. It's how you portray it. How do you take it in? Again, I know, Tara, you did your Ouija thing, and you were so clear on your Ouija board video. How she explained is, how do you go into use the tools? Again, you can use it either way you feel like it, either way you want to project it. It's your choice. Your choice. You do it to yourself. Nobody's doing it to you. No demons can attack you unless you allow them. No enemy unless you welcome them, unless you open the door. But you have the power to say yes or no.
That is so important. I was yesterday. I was watching here in Chile, just a regular news TV show, and they were talking about using herbs for healing. They were talking about using crystals and sacred geometry and all these things, just in a regular TV show. And I was like, oh, that is so cool. And I was watching. I'm like, oh, and then, but at the end they said, oh no, but do not use Ouija boards and do not, you know. And I thought, it's all the same. They're all tools, you know?
It's how you invite, it's what you invite in your frequency. It's again, that's why it's free will. And the difference is that when you are from the light, you play fair, the free will. The free will from the dark, they trick you, and they will trick you. okay, because they play dirty, right? Because but they will trick you. They not cannot do anything on you unless you fall for their tricks. That's the trick.
Yeah, we have this tendency
Exactly.
to blame the dark forces, like they hijacked our schools, they hijacked our politics, but we've allowed all that. We created all that. It's not them.
Exactly.
It's our allowing to be misled because we're not connected to our higher selves because we don't have that divine guidance. So they didn't do anything to us. They
No.
let us bury ourselves, basically.
Exactly. Thank you. My God, you and I, we gotta have a talk. We seem to don't
Yeah.
talk about the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know a lot of things that I imagine you know a lot of those things that I'm not even going to talk about today.
We don't want to explode people's heads just yet.
we want this video to stay on YouTube. Okay?
Exactly. Yeah. We're walking the line already.
We are, yeah.
Well, like when I was younger, I used to have, these certain nightmares where these dark energies would, come after me, and I was always running, and I was always trying to scream for help, but there would be no voice, and it would be like I was running through molasses, just trying to get away from these energies. And I think I was like, I was probably like 14 or 15, and I actually remember that dream vividly, because I always would see myself in third person in the dream. I was never in first person. So I would see myself running away from these energies, which in my dream was like stereotypical monsters. You got like Wolfman and vampire, Frankenstein's monster, and stuff like this, And I remember at some point I stopped and I was like, why do I run from them if this is my dream? And so I turned around, and when I turned around, I was in first person again instead of third person. And I told them all that I loved them, and I gave them all hugs, and I said, "We can be friends." And I was like, and that you don't have to do that anymore. And then all those dreams went away. And anytime now, if I get like a creepy dream, like sometimes I'll kind of shut my eyes, but I'll like run to it and I'll tell it how much I love it and give it a hug. And I tell it it's really nice and I'll be its friend. And then it goes away.
It's funny you say that because something like that happened to me the other day about a few years ago. This faces will come in my face, and I will look at them. Hey, you're beautiful, and I start laughing at them. Oh, those are big teeth, and they're like, "What the hell?" Like in there, I can feel their energy. Are you getting scared on my face? And then we'll go again, and I'm going, "You're so cute." And I laughed, so they stopped, of course, because they couldn't get me. I was left right of it.
I have to say something. I have to say something here. Ever since I was little, I've been like kind of introverted, very quiet, very very quiet, and I would just observe people and kind of like feel their energy, and when I would get into a group of people. There would be times where most of the time I wouldn't say anything at all. And I just would feel like this kind of disconnect a lot. And then as time went by, when I started my YouTube channel, James' channel came up and Tara's channel came up, and they just kept coming up over and over again. And I was like, what's going on here? And immediately I felt really comfortable. And even like right now with Claudia, with everyone, Diane, everyone, Jonathan, everyone that's here, I mean, if you know me, like if you see how I am, even at work or anytime, I'm always feeling like people out. And immediately with all of you, there's like this feeling of like this family. And I had to say that because coming from me, I don't say stuff like that very often, and I don't really, I've been in a lot of groups of people, and I've never really felt that comfortable. Like Diane, when you wrote me, the first time you wrote me, I was reading your messages, and I was like, I feel so comfortable with her, and so I was just messaging you back. I was like, what is going on here? And James, same thing. I just feel like this energy of like, just everything just falling into place and being really comfortable. So I just had to mention that because it's something very different for me to do. I don't open up very often. I don't really step out of my comfort zone very often.
It sounds like this is not the first time we've all come together.
Yes. You know what?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I definitely want to add something to all of this. I fly solo all the time. I have my own school solo, the only teacher, and I'm doing everything I do solo. I don't go into groups. I don't join into things. This is the first time I actually feel really comfortable with all of you guys. And it's again same as Will. I feel everybody's energy. I do feel I'm like you. I feel energies, and if I don't feel if something, a little tiny thing doesn't coordinate, I'm like I run. I run fast, and so definitely, like I know with Tara, I was just connected, and I didn't know Tara knew me before I knew her. You knew me like 2 years before. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, I missed this girl this time, but everything is in the right time. The right time has come that for us to come together, and I do totally love you guys, and I totally feel great, and I totally feel like Will says, like a family. I feel the energies of you guys are fantastic. So this is the first time I'm actually doing something like this in my whole entire, to actually go in that collaborate into togetherness, into teaching something because it is hard to find people who are really legit into real
Yeah.
truth. And you guys are all real. I love it. Thank you for being
I
yourself.
don't, I don't know if Tara wants to talk about this, but she's been meeting us in the astral, right?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
I know that. I go to Astro a lot, but come on, Tara, tell this guys here what you be doing.
Well, see, I mean, it's been interesting because, like, I don't know, just like my whole point of view on everything, and like, even how I see myself and my energy and like my place in this world, and it's just all different, and it's like actually it's really hard to understand, like put into words. And so oftentimes I'm usually like DMing James because I think he kind of gets like my jumble of stuff I'm trying to talk about. But yeah, basically we've kind of all been together in Astro. We've all kind of been on like missions, like we're all doing stuff together, kind of like I don't know, like kind of like the X-Men, I guess. Prepping and like everybody's got their tools, and it's like I don't know, it's been pretty awesome, and I mean, and like you guys were all saying, like my like how my personality is. Yes, I'm Gemini, so I'm like I am pretty outgoing when I want to be, because I have my I'm in hermit mode and I'm speaking to no one, and then I have okay, I'm going to be the life of the party, and I'm going to go like 120 miles an hour, and then I'm going to go back and like go sleep for 2 weeks, but usually if I want to do anything, I always do it myself. Like I'm like one of my biggest things is I struggle with asking for help or working with people, because I figure I'll just do it myself. And then it was like, this change where I was like, it's not bad to work with others, and actually you can't do it yourself, and you need to like suck it up, buttercup, because nobody can do it themselves. So I've, kind of been working through all that, and it's like been so like warm and inviting, like to like like be amongst you guys, and like normally like that's not my MO. Is like usually I'm all by myself. I'm spinning around in circles like the Tasmanian devil all by myself, and also like with like with lady friends, because most of my friends have always been dudes, and that's kind of how that's how I grew up, as very masculine. I'm rough and tumble. I'm a tomboy. I will wrestle the boys and I will get in fights with boys. And so it's like now, like one of my best friends, it's the first time I've been a best friend with a girl, and opening up and trusting girls, because probably just due to having a horrible mother, I just grew up trusting females, that I always felt like they were going to backstab me or hurt me. So like we're stay with the boys, where my sister always up, so now it's like all that has changed, and I'm just like just all comfortable, like guys, girls, like whatever, like we're all on the same team. Like there is no separate classes, like same team, So yeah, that's been my thing, and so that's why also this school is very important, at least to me. It's like been healing, even though it's, it just barely come together really, is that, I am like now all open to like working with others and learning about, it's not just like you're not the center of the universe. There's everybody else, and there's working with everybody, and everybody's got something, different to give. And so yeah,
It's true. It's true. It's true. You see, when we start seeing people like everybody has a gift to give. There's no competition with nobody, but everybody wants to do the competition, But no, there shouldn't be. That is something to need to be deleted. And and when you feel the joy of somebody else's success, guess what? You're gonna be vibrating great. But when you're getting jealous about other people's success, you're going down. Because you know what? That energy that you're sending out is going to come back and slap you back. So, but if you're sending that for authentic, being happy for somebody, oh my God, you want $1 million. I'm so happy for you. Good for you, and be legit happy. Most of the people, oh, why couldn't it be me, right? So we need to get out of that. That needs to change. Again, want to change the world? Little things that we've been trained to think that way. No, we need to cut it out.
It's like one of
Yes.
Newton's laws. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction,
Absolutely.
and you have to put something out, and it will come back to you. I feel like it applies to that as well. It applies to energy. It's energy that you're giving off, and so even with a physical action, there's an opposite reaction. So with a spiritual reaction, with a any type of vibration that you're giving out, there's something coming back. And when you give, like for example, if you give, you're opening yourself up to receive. I think it's something that we've kind of overlooked over time, but I think it's really important to, like you said, to send that out. Yeah.
Well, to add to that, that's what I teach a lot of my students. Don't use the word spend anymore. Use the word circulate. Change
Ooh.
that. When you are paying for something, you're going to say, I'm not spending, I'm circulating on this. Because here you're buying something that is going to help somebody else, and you're circulating, and it's going to come back. When you circulate, it comes back. And you're saying, thank you for this. When you're paying, you're saying, thank you, I'm circulating funds on this. And it will come back. Take the word spend, take the word broke out of your vocabulary. Take it out.
I
Don't
like
ever
that.
say, because I am. What are you? A good luck generator. Don't say I'm broke. Don't say I don't have. Say I am. Even if you only have a penny, I am wealthy. Okay. Whether you have a penny or you don't, I am wealthy. Don't take the word broke out of your mouth, because every time you say I am broke, you become broker. And when you say I spend, the money goes, it doesn't come back. You circulate. And that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying, so that
yeah, and also with that, I found that when you say that, and you put the emotion, the vibration of your emotion behind it, you try to feel that.
yes,
That really combines together, because you're sending out more of a wave.
yes,
Yeah, people don't realize that words are spells. We're casting a spell with our speech. And so
absolutely.
people want to learn how to do spells. Well, you already know how. It starts with how you speak.
Yes, everybody's doing
Mm-hmm.
spells. There's black spells, there's white spells. Everybody, every time you open your mouth, it's a spell. Remember, all of you guys, like it or not, you're doing a spell. So
That's something I actually was taught not that long ago, was instead of saying, oh God, I have bills to pay, say, oh, I'm so thankful that I can pay these bills and have a roof over my head and running water and electricity. I am blessed by being able to have these bills to pay.
you circulate it. You don't pay. You circulate these bills,
Mhm.
because when you say thank you, because whoever who providing you those the bills, either the phone or their water, they're providing you a service. So you're circulating your money to them. So they need to also receive something so they can survive too. You know,
Right.
It's an even exchange of energy, basically.
it is
Right.
very
Right.
important exchange our energy. So
Mhm.
that's why I learned it the hard way. I used to want to do reads for free, healing for free. We disempower people when we give it for free. It's a disempower. It's not, people take, right? They take, you get disempowered, you drain yourself, you get really, really. So a lot of people are very afraid to charge for their service. Don't be afraid anymore, because if you're giving free all the time, you're draining yourself, and you're disempowered the person you keep giving. That's why it's got to circulate. It's an energy exchange.
There's no shame in thriving.
It's a law. It's actually it's a cosmic law. So I learned it the hard way. I got my butt kicked for that.
You know, being okay with like being paid for what I do. You know, I actually had to look at it in terms of singing. Like, would I do an entire opera, rehearsals, you know, sleepless nights, you know, all of this? Would I do that for free? And it's like, you know, because that's also a talent. And again, not everybody can sing opera. I know that, you know, and it's like, you know, would I sing for free? No. It's like, so, you know, why would I use my other talents for free?
It's your energy.
So, you know, that you always have to, you know, charge for everything, but you know, there's needs to be a balance, basically.
Yeah, it's your energy. But you see, when you're investing, like for you guys, if you take the course, you're investing in yourself. You're proud of investing, circulating that into yourself. And trust me, I put myself through a lot of schools, and I learned a lot. I spent thousands to get me to where I am. Because I was, even though since I was a kid, I knew my gift, but also I wanted to fit in with everybody. So I suffered a lot as I was growing up, because I was trying to shut down who I was, trying to fit in. And so I was in that dark cloud thing, right? So when I was ready to say, this is it, I need to invest in myself. And you know what? Every penny I invest was so worth it. I will do it again and again and again, and all has come back, because I taught me, and I got myself into being who I am now. So I know I can circulate. I can do this. It is all worth it, guys. But you see, we're so easy to spend $20 on a mug. I mean, those mugs are actually $45 sometimes, right? By the time you ship, it's so easy to do that. But or pair these shoes that are $200-300. But everybody cheaps themselves in getting that knowledge, that knowledge will help them grow more and get more of the stuff that they want. See, this is what that the training that they give people to make people to believe, oh, why should I circulate my money on a course that I don't even know? It is going to help you to raise your vibration so you can manifest and do what you want. That's the thing. You're investing in yourself.
And not only will the energy come back to you, it's going to come back to you threefold.
Absolutely.
Right? It's going to multiply. So
yes.
It's even more important to make sure you're putting out good energy, because you don't want threefold negative energy coming back.
Exactly.
So I think like the whole like propaganda out there is that there is no inherent value in yourself unless you have value around you. You know, it's the things that you have, you know, on your person and that you surround yourself with, whether than the stuff that you're actually using to elevate yourself. Like there's never been any say that there's value in that. So I think that's why it's so hard for people
borrow stuff,
buy stuff where it helps them either mentally, physically, spiritually. You know, people are hesitant to do that because that's not the narrative of like there's value in helping yourself. There's value in this really cute pair of shoes, you know, and there's the value in, you know, your hot car, you know, and stuff.
Yeah. But you see, that's the programs that they want people to value more of the stuff that we borrow. Basically, we borrow the car, we borrow the house, we borrow the stuff, because we're not going to take that with us. But the knowledge you do take, believe it or not, when we don't die, guys, we don't die. We leave the vessel when you chose to leave it. It's a free will thing. It's not whatever situation the vessel lives is because you have planned that before you came here. So when this vessel lives, okay, so anything that you learn in this lifetime here is where you go in a different level. If you didn't learn anything, you have to start learning before you move up in the other levels. And then it's when you also choose if you want to go back when you're in front of the highest council. How do you enjoy your journey? They're going to ask you, did you enjoy your journey? And some of you are going to go, no, I come with a lot of regrets, a lot of things I wanted to do, I didn't do. Would you like to go back? You know what? Even if you did terrible things here, down there, there's not such thing as they're going to punish you for it. Okay, you guys, that is all baloney. And that makes, so you came here to make mistakes. So mistakes, I call them lessons. They're not mistakes, they're lessons. But people call them mistakes. But everything that it didn't work out for you is because you needed to go through that, because that is going to take you to a different level. Nothing is a mistake. It's a lesson. It's a elevating. And sometimes to move to the next level, it gets a little turbulence, a little bit of that tower happens. But it needs to break off that pattern to move you to the next level. Sometimes the universe kicks you in the butt. It does it for you without, if you don't not doing it, it's gonna do it for you. And so
You know how we were talking about tattoos earlier. So my tattoo is a dragonfly, and for a long time, I was like, well, why? I like them, but it took on this significance because, like, with dragonflies, when they're coming out of like a certain stage, and if you help them, they'll actually won't be able to get the blood circulating through their wings, and they'll never be able to fly. So you have to let them struggle to get out of that shell, and then once they come out, they're strong enough to go forward. And I was like, wow, that's so interesting, because I agree with you. It's like that tower time, but it strengthens you in a way that allows you to do something like fly. I mean, they go from being in the shell to like now they're flying, and that huge leap, and that tiny time of struggle, but the benefit is something that they take with them for the rest of their lives, that ability of flight. And I just think that
Yeah.
And that's the message for humanity in these next few months. Like, we're about to do that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wrote about something similar to that in regards to Butterfly Maiden, which we just made a organized sculpture of that based on one of the cards. And it's the same thing, the caterpillar is in the chrysalis. It is completely becomes mush, just a mushy thing, and it feeds on itself, and then it becomes this beautiful butterfly. But it has to take its time. If you force it out, it's dead. And it's such a beautiful thing about to come out. And when I painted the Butterfly Maiden in my painting, I don't have the butterfly in the form of a full butterfly. She's still coming out.
Wow.
And I feel, all the pieces that I've done, I've channeled them, so I can't tell you this is why I did it this way, because I have no idea why I did it that way. But looking at it, I think that probably Spirit had me do it that way, because that's a hard stage to be in. But at the same time, it's very promising and full of hope, because she has, I guess I could go and get her, but she just has her head out, and yeah, that's I think where some of us are. I think others are way in the cocoon still and can't see the light. But it is a constant human process, as we're always in this evolution. So we're always going through that, I think, over and over again. And it's a beautiful thing, but there's that time that we need to be in there and in the chrysalis, and nobody can get us out, but we have that power within ourselves to heal and to come forth beautifully.
And we're constantly growing. And so in order to grow, sometimes there's going to be getting out of the comfort zone. And sometimes you can do it yourself. Like, let's say you go to work and you drive the same way every day. You know what? When you get in that comfort part that you don't even know how you got to work because you're so used to going that way, change the direction. Give yourself that little get out of the comfort zone. Change the direction of how you go to work. And it's got to be uncomfortable in the beginning, but then you're going to adapt. And that also gives you that flexibility. I personally just did a whole change on my schedule and everything. I just took myself out of that comfort in purpose. I do it all the time. When I'm too comfortable doing something, I go, okay, I need to tweak it up. And we can do that. Let's say you eat the same thing every day. Let's tweak it up, change it. Be flexible. And and you can learn on your own by you doing it on yourself. Okay, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to go now, instead of going to downstairs, let's say for my walk at this time, I'm going to go at this time. change things around, which it will be uncomfortable because you're getting out of that comfort zone. But if you're constantly doing that, you evolve and you grow, and you become very flexible to accept new things into your life. So when changes happen, you're like, okay, come bring it on. Already, I'm ready. Okay, bring it on. Next. So yeah, that's another cue for you guys to help you.
I just want to share my tattoo story since we're all sharing tattoo stories. I have on my low back, I have a yin yang that is actually like a woman and a man, like kind of in the yin yang position. There's flames around them, and on either side, there's dragons. And I got it all long before I ever went to acupuncture school. And my very first semester in acupuncture school, when we're doing foundations, my teacher went on and on about how getting a tattoo is not good for the acupoints because it like that overstimulation kills the acupoints. So I'm like, oh God, I got a tattoo. She's like, well, it's too late now. Obviously, you already have it, but let's see it. And so I pulled up my shirt to show off my tattoo, and she literally gasped and went, if you could boil down Chinese medicine into a single image on the body, you got it. And I was like, oh,
Yes.
okay. Obviously, I'm meant to be here.
Thank God. That's cool.
I'm going to show you this is a butterfly maiden. And she's coming. So she's not quite out, but there's the promise, the new moon.
You guys
or the sliver, the moon growing.
I love your art. I definitely have to order your art. Oh my God, that's
thank
it.
you.
Yeah, you're so talented.
I don't think twice.
Thank you.
That's so
I
nice.
definitely
Really amazing.
get it. I don't care.
Thank you.
I'm circulated. See, my circulating, I'm helping somebody's dream to grow. See, when we circulate, she's got a dream, and when we circulate, we help somebody else's dream to grow. And in top, when you do that, that circulation will come back. And I love helping people on their dreams. If I can be part of it, even by getting something from them, helps them elevate their dream. You help the dreams come true, which is really cool.
Well, thank you. It's an honor. This is back here. This is Oshun. She's going to be in the second deck. She's not on this deck. But it's really a she's right there. It's really an honor. When I first started channeling these goddesses, I didn't know anything about goddesses, and I wasn't quite interested. I was all about UFOs and quantum physics, and I was led to not look into them, just to channel them and learn to trust my channeling. And it's been quite an adventure, because it was quite different than my regular art. And I remember getting to a point where I was like, I'm kind of tired of doing all these goddesses. But my partner said, okay, but you're serving a purpose here, and this is sort of like your mission, and on top of it, it's what's selling best. So there's definitely that even exchange of energy, and then I started, all kinds of things have happened, and but it's been a big lesson for me, this what you're talking about, this even exchange of energy. I am doing a service through channeling these, and slowly, the universe gives back so much. It's beautiful, and it's just in perfect order. So it's an honor.
Well, we're gonna have to do another show on ETs, because we know all about that they do exist, right, guys? And I'm sure every one of you guys have an encounter, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that'll be the next course. We'll do it all together.
Yeah, I'm definitely connected with ETs, and I've communicated with them, and
Yes, me too.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them, so you guys know, some of those ETs that you actually connect to, It's your future self.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
you share an
Yes.
oversoul. You both are the same. You have if you go up the line, right? You're connected, and you're connected as
Mm-hmm.
you have the same soul, basically.
Think
Yes.
definitely.
Yes.
A lot to that. Maybe that'll be the next course.
Oh, I would love that.
Taught by
Yeah,
all of us at the same time. That'll be so cool. Like, would you guys
wouldn't
like that?
it?
All of us doing
Hey,
one course.
That would be really
yes, and
cool.
you know, here in Chile, we have lots of sightings. Ever since I was very little, we yes, I believe that Chile has the most sightings in the world.
You're so
Here we
lucky to
have
be
the biggest what is it called, the big things to look into the sky, the biggest
Telescope,
but they're not called telescopes when they're that big. They're called something else, but
observatory.
observatories. Thank you. So we have the largest observatories here in the north of Chile. It's the driest desert, and I don't know why, but you can see the stars so bright, and it's in the same places where most of the observatory are where there's very little population because it's such a dry desert, and so maybe that's why, I don't know, but I've seen.
You've also got the Nazca lines pretty close, and the Incas are rumored to have interacted as well. So it's a hotbed for ET activity in that area.
Yes.
It has always been a hotbed for activity, always. So there's tons of stories. Like I said, ever since I was very little living here, ETs were quite a normal part of
Maybe,
life.
maybe instead of you coming back to the United States, I'm in Canada, but most of you guys are United States. Maybe instead of you coming here, we'll go down there and we shoot our class.
Yeah, let's do that.
I love that. You're lucky to be
Yeah, I'm
where
all
you
for a
are.
trip
You
down
know
there.
what? You are one of the most lucky out of all of them to be where you are. Trust me in that one there.
Oh, yeah.
Don't even try hard to come back yet. Not yet.
No, I'm not trying.
I'm happy on my island in the
Yes.
middle of the Pacific.
I'm in
Thank you.
Victoria, BC, so I don't know. I mean, so far everything. I don't know if I'm creating the world, whatever. But we don't. I haven't not one time have to wear a mask. I'm not no mandatory, none of that stuff. And actually, I gone into a store that says the first store that I seen here that says it's mandatory to wear a mask. I put a little invisible clock. I go in, you see everybody with their mask, and I'm like, la 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 la. I go to the cashier. Cashier is super nice. You can tell she's smiling. She's got them. Do not notice that I did not wear them. So I'm being lucky.
Yeah, it works. I do the invisibility cloak as well, and I haven't worn a mask yet either.
I love it.
I've had one instance where someone noticed me, but that was it.
Nobody. The store was the last time I went just recently. It was packed. I went at a time when it was so busy. Everybody's walking. I guess they cannot breathe very well. That they cannot even notice. The mask can really blind you sometimes. I can't stand that stuff in my face. So I'm like la 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 la. And then nobody can see me. They didn't see me walking by. Nothing. I'm lining up to go to pay, and everybody's on them. Nobody even noticed I was lining up. Pay the cashier, and you can still just smile, how's your day and all that. Not one word. It's like
Yeah, and I think it goes back to the 3D 5D split. As we diverge from each other, these people who are in 3D are almost like living in a different reality than we are, and we still can experience each other, we still can interact with each other, but as time goes on, we're just going to diverge further and further apart until we split totally.
It's so true, man. It's so true. I love it. I love it that somebody else actually gets me. I love it. You guys get me.
I get it.
I feel like I'm talking to the wall. So I'm like, am I nuts? So there's something wrong with me. There's very few people. I have my school is very few people they're waking up, they're good, but not everybody's attracted to this. It seems like like you say, they all want to stay in that third world. They don't even see you. They don't even see you.
Yeah, I think they've already made I think most people have made the choice already, 5D or 3D. And
yes.
So now we're just seeing the effect of it.
Exactly. So cool, man. I swear. I love this. I'm in heaven with you guys. You're awesome. Awesome.
So I know that there's like a thing with StreamYard, it ends at a certain
Oh,
point, but I don't know when that is, and I don't want it to like cut us off. But
Rudy.
I want to find out about StreamYard.
Huh?
I want to find out about StreamYard because I would love to be able to because we're on YouTube right now, right?
Right.
So I'd love to be able to do this when Sergio's doing the unboxing tonight, to be able to be on with him at the same time.
Yeah, so you could do that, and like with StreamYard, you can stream to multiple places at once. So like if you wanted to stream to Facebook and YouTube and to whatever your other social medias are at the same time,
Wow.
you know, and you could also turn
StreamYard.com.
your desktop.
Wow.
And it's free. I mean, there is an upgraded version, which I guess takes away the little StreamYard logo, but I don't know. I like ducks, so I don't care. Stay there.
I think it also extends how many times you can be on, because with the free StreamYard, I think it's like it's still a lot. I think it's like 40 hours a month, which
but
is
I don't use it all that much because I normally just go straight through YouTube on my phone. But if I have to, like have to do something like this, or I have to have multiple people on, or I don't know, like I'm doing stuff for Patreon, like then I'll use StreamYard. But I know they give you like a lot of stuff for free, so.
I
Right.
tried to StreamYard for free, and they only let you be in one platform. But yes, you can have different people. If you upgrade it about like $20 a month, then you can be in 2-3 times at the same time and without the little ducky there. But I kind of like the duck.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like whatever ducks, let it just roll off their back. I mean,
I kind of like the little ducky. So yeah, definitely, it's interesting. It's really good, the stuff that they're coming up. Another one is good is Zoom, but I don't know if you can come out on YouTube on Zoom. I think Zoom is the sound.
Zoom. I think you have to
can.
record and then
you have
post
to
it.
record.
No, you can with the paid version. You can do it on YouTube
Oh,
because
right.
we actually paid to try to be able to do it, but we were getting a lot of echo, and we finally
You have to do
unsubscribed.
the
So
headphones.
I found the sound is terrible on Zoom. You're right. I agree with you.
oh
Yeah, the sound. Because sometimes I like to do my teaching and come with the thing, and it goes. It sounds great in my end, and on Zoom, it's are you serious? It distorts the whole thing. So what I've been doing with my meditation, I create them first. But I sometimes just want to bring I have my chalice, like golden chalice. And just, when you hit that, it just woo, to everybody when you feel the actual sound. But Zoom distorts it all. It's like I feel like they do it on purpose sometimes.
Well, I was thinking if you guys want to, because like, I mean, you guys know you're popping to my chats and stuff like that. But if we all could do like our like a collective message, since we all divine differently and we all tap in differently. Like for me, I'm gonna use my cards and stuff like that. But however you guys want to tap in, if you want to tap in with crystals or whatever it may be, we could do.
I can't believe you're saying this. I was gonna suggest this.
And then afterwards, we could do a group healing, since normally that's what I do. I always leave off with a healing for everybody that is here or will be here, rewatching it, or even people that don't even know I exist. I always just, want to put some good juju out there. So yeah,
Awesome.
you guys would like to like grab a message for us, and I'll put our messages.
Let me go grab something real quick.
I got some cards here. I got different things. I got stones, cards. Yeah, I can pull it. Let's see.
I have my new deck.
Let's I'm gonna use this deck. Such a cool deck.
Okay,
I can go first. So I pulled a card from the Wizard's Tarot because Tara made me buy it. And I pulled the Queen of Swords, and the message I got was that confidence will carry you through anything. The more confidence that you have, the more that you will conquer your challenges.
So what I'm using is this deck here. and I pulled two cards. Two cards came out with me right away. Energy and set the intention. So again, when you're setting the intention, what's what you want to do, you are that energy. You're that energy. Okay. And so you are powerful. Anything that you set the intention to create, and then I pull one of this as I was doing it, do it with love. Remember we say about love, how funny. The one that I pulled was love, and I'm teaching the love thing, right? So put your intentions always with the good, with the love, the high vibration, and that will you will manifest. Again, remember, you are the energy. You are everything. And so how are you gonna channel your energy into the creating of your life? Is setting the right intention with the love intention. And that's my case.
And Diane, I think somebody was asking what that deck was that you're
Oh,
using.
yes, definitely. It is, tell you right now. The name of this deck is Cosmic Guidance. Let me just, I cannot pronounce the name. I did a video on it, guys. I did a video, an unboxing, so you can take a look. But let me put it closer here. It's a beautiful deck.
Okay.
I love that cover.
And I did, oh, look at the back of the, and look at the fronts. They're all purple, and they have silver.
Love it.
And so I did an unboxing because there's not too many out there. So feel free to come my channel. My channel is Diane Caputo Arenas. It's not Divine in the Love. It's just, I don't know. My channel is an old channel. So definitely Diane with the Y, Diane Caputo Arenas. Or you can always look for Divine in the Love. When you go in Divine in the Love page, there's my links for everything, Facebook and YouTube. So it is there. It is beautiful. I recommend it. And don't get scared if it's from far away. She ships really nicely and fast.
So the cards that I got, so I have the Five of Wands, and I had the Seven of Cups, and I had the Three of Swords. And so what I was getting with that is sometimes, you know, a lot of times people would like choices and things. Sometimes we become overwhelmed by our choices, or just even overwhelmed by information, an inundation of, you know, pathos, of emotion, or, you know, just inundated with collective thinking, you know, things like that. And we don't set our boundaries, we don't separate ourselves from things. We sometimes run into conflict. And so with the Three of Swords, it's just a reminder to make sure that you're both checking in with the head and the heart, you know, with any information or the people that you surround yourself with, or the choices that are presented in front of you. Instead of taking them all in at once and letting it turn into, let's say, an Eight of Swords moment. But, you know, what is the heart saying, but also what is your head saying? And are they in alignment with each other, or are they fighting against each other, you know, with that? And that should tell you something if you're feeling a little bit of a disconnect. Or maybe the information there is something that you should reevaluate.
So cool. You know, so far the three messages we given so far, they put them together, you know, they're making sense. Let's see what's next. Let's see what.
So lately I've been working with the 78 Tarot Astral, and I mean, for me, this deck has really been, I've really been connecting with it. So I have it with me here. I'm not at home, so I don't have like all of my decks or, you know, crystals or anything here, but I brought this one with me because it's just one of those decks that just, I don't know, I've just been really trying to connect with lately. And so I pulled three cards from it. The first one is the Four of Cups here. I don't know how well that's showing up, but I feel like, you know, we were talking about grounding. We were talking about connecting with the earth and really bringing that energy to us. And I think that's something that needs to be repeated. It's a message that I think really, a really strong message, that one that when we talked about it, I remembered when I would go out and ground, and I remembered, you know, the energy that I felt coming from the earth. And I think that when we talked about that, it's a gift. And, you know, you see this little, I don't know if you can see it, but there's this little alien giving her this cup, this gift. And I think that it's just a message that I think that it's a really beautiful message from the earth that it wants to give to us. And so I think that the next card that I pulled was the Three of Cups. And I just think it symbolizes all of us being together. You know, we were talking about the collective consciousness and being connected. And, you know, I think that our energy, our heart energy is connected. I think that, and I'm not talking about us just here, but, you know, just everyone in the world. And I think that that connection with the earth, that connection with us is something that is really a really good message that came from this discussion. And I think it teaches us, you know, we have the Hierophant. It was teaching us something. And so I feel like that's something that I'm going to remember from this conversation, to connect with the earth, to connect with everyone, and to put that energy out there. And so that's kind of what I got. So.
Beautiful.
Thank you. I can share my three from my old deck, which is called Sacred Mothers and Goddesses, by the way. And the first, I pulled 3 cards as well. And the first card is Sulis Minerva for justice and healing. So Sulis Minerva it's a goddess of Bath in the UK. And all the way until today, people go and pray to her. Her dress is green because it is like, like an old-fashioned bath. So the sides of the walls have moss, and people go there for physical healing, but also for emotional feeling when you have had things that have been unjustly done to you. And so even in the old days, people would write on tablets, and they would write actually curses for punishment for people who have done them wrong, and to bring justice to themselves. A little bit of karma work there. So that's our first one, is for justice and healing. And then interestingly enough, we have Kuyen for ancestors, and this is a goddess from Chile, from here. She's a Mapuche goddess, and her message is about ancestors and past lives. When she came through, there was a lot of work also. She gave me a message for a lot of work to be done with Akashic records and healing through tapping into our ancestors, which is what we were talking about earlier today. So that's pretty cool. And we were talking about how tapping and paying homage and honoring our ancestors brings healing, right? So we have these 2 cards. And then the third one is powerful Isis, the mother of the mothers, for relationships and sacred unions, this being a sacred union here. And, and I think that's one of the things that even through everything that we're talking about and through all the evolution that we're doing in the world, is bringing us into knowing how powerful and important community is, our tribe is, our relationships, right? And so there's that's the message that I get from there. And I do have a little bag where I keep little chakra goddesses. So I'm going to pull a chakra goddess and see what chakra goddess maybe we can connect to right now. Maybe for this week, maybe for this moon season. And root chakra, which is exactly the one. Well, this one and communication, but the root chakra was mentioned by Diane earlier in doing exactly this type of healing, right? You were talking about ancestral healing and how the root chakra was very important with that. And so here she is.
Wow. Funny, I was going to pull my chakra hearts, but I had a feeling you were going to pull something like that. I love it. It's so awesome. I love it. Beautiful message. Love
That's
it.
awesome.
I love your cards. They're beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Your energy.
I just love how. Sorry.
Your energy that you put in your cards are fantastic too. I love the energy.
Oh, thank you. It's all.
Definitely, I'm gonna ask Tara to give me that link to where I can go get them because I definitely want that deck. Tara.
Thank you.
So I'm pulling cards from a deck I just got last week. It was a Kickstarter, and it's the Crystal Skull.
Nice.
Ooh, yes.
Nice.
So the first card I pulled is the World card. So to me, this is talking about us all together here, and not just the 6 of us, but like everyone in the chat, and everyone's going to see it later, and everyone who's joining us in the school. We're all connected, right? So we're all starting something, but we're also completing something. And the next card I pulled was the Knight of Wands, riding a unicorn. And if you put them together, you can see that he's riding towards the world. So he's all about action, going and not sitting in home doing nothing, but going out, being active, trying to strive to make the world a better place. And look, he's heading right towards the world. And the final card I pulled was the Hermit. So for me, this is really talking about our school, because it's like, yes, people are going to be doing it by themselves in their home, but they're also, by taking these classes, they're making their world a better place, and they're striving to make themselves better. So by being better themselves, the world itself becomes better.
That's a beautiful message.
Beautiful.
And I always like to look at the bottom of the deck after, just to see shadow work that we're doing. And bottom of the deck here is 2 of Swords. So it's talking to me about that choice. Do you make the choice to do the school, or do you make the choice to just stay on the same path you're already on? Because learning these skills will change you and change your life. So, but you can't see the way forward until you start taking those steps. So.
Wow.
I love that taking the bottom of the deck.
Yes.
For shadow work.
I like that.
That is really cool.
It is. See, we all learned.
So I do have, as everybody was doing their messages and stuff, I mean, my well, I guess you could call it my heart issue. It's connected also to, like, when there's weird energy going on is when my tachycardia acts up and when my heart starts skipping. And so it was like skipping big time, but it was like, you know, once Jonathan was like getting through the middle of his message, like it all just like lifted, like I just felt a huge like energy just take off. So I kind of feel like, you know, with this, you know, chat that we all came together today, that, you know, there was definitely something shifted and moved. You know, because my barometer is like my wacky heart. So yeah, I thought it was just
beautiful.
So all right, I always end with a healing, so you guys can follow along and do your thing, however it is that you guys do your healings. And yeah, so everybody who's in our chat today, if you want to stick around, you're more than welcome. You don't have to necessarily physically be in the chat. Just know that the energy reaches you no matter where you are and no matter what time you're in. You know, so yeah, you can say it aloud, say it in your brain, say it in the chat that you're open to the healing, and it will come to you. So I want to find a direction for the healing. So actually, I'm going to, Claudia, I'm going to pull from your deck real quick. Man, that was like just such a...
Oh, this will be the first pull from that deck, Tara.
Yeah, it goes in history.
At least the one that I witnessed, anyway.
I brought my shamanic one. I have different ones. I have different galactic, but today the shamanic wanted to come out. There's a reason why, right? Because we're connecting to earthly, to grounding, and connecting to our ancestors, and so that's the one I wanted to come out today. Let's see.
Oh,
Sensuality. So for me, in terms of healing, oftentimes sensuality in all its forms, male and female, is repressed, because it's seen something as taboo. And so this is more of tapping into the things that we consider taboo in our lives, that create blockages unknowingly, in our various other areas that usually has nothing to do with, where we think sensuality goes. So this is more to unblock the things that we keep hidden, maybe from the world, but also hidden from ourselves, so that we can create more magic in our lives. So that's where the healing's going today. So
Chakra.
thank you to Freya, and thank you to Claudia for tapping into Freya for bringing us this card.
Oh wow! Those of you that watch my channel, you know I have this connection with Freya. So funny, but yeah, that energy is always. Yeah, I have like the statue, and but I won't get into that. That's just
But it's a root chakra too. It's a root chakra too.
yes, yes, yes.
Well, we're
It-
also going to have to come back and do this again sometime, because
yes,
this was a freaking awesome chat. And
Yes, absolutely.
yes, yes.
okay, so
Already.
you guys do your thing.
Did I felt that, guys? Woo-hoo.
That was crazy.
That was powerful.
So for me, I saw a white light moving in like an infinity symbol all throughout my body. The
That was,
infinity symbol. It just kept
Mm.
circuiting like that. Yeah.
I was sending that. You saw it.
You were sending that?
Yeah.
Oh, I got that loud and clear.
Holy smokes. I love it.
Whoa, whoa.
That was crazy.
I'm still tingling.
We all showed up,
That
and see all of you, and everybody linked arms. And Diana, you were on my left. You were on my left hand side, and we were all like marching, and we were all chanting, "We can do it! We can do it! We can do it! We can do it!" And like we marched right into the darkness, and and it was we couldn't see each other, but we could still feel each other. And I couldn't feel the ground beneath my feet anymore, which was a little disconcerting. But we could still feel each other, and we just kept saying, "We can do this. We can do this. We can do this." And then all of a sudden, it was like it all lifted, and I could hear the birds chirping. We realized we were in the middle of like a beautiful, like place full of greenery and birds, and it was like, oh, this has been covered by darkness this whole time. It was beautiful.
That's beautiful. I saw a lot of sort of like white curtains opening up and light, and as we're walking through, like everybody in the chat, even I could sort of like see everybody that's going to be a part of this, and this opening up and light, just like sun rays. That's what it was. It was like they were like tons of rays, and yeah, it was really amazing.
I saw what I saw again as I was bringing the energy, the light, and make it into infinitive. As we're all together, we're actually again holding hands, walking towards the sun, and the sun is shining us. So we have light from everywhere, illuminating, empowering us, so we can together we were vibrating that light to everybody, to the whole planet, the whole cosmic, and it was just like bright light. It's like, oh, I love it. And the
Yeah, that's right. That's what I saw. Just bright light and lots of rays, like the rays coming like this. Like
I felt tingling all over too. Tingling, 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 tingling. Whee! I'm still feeling the tingle right now.
My head is so, I'm feel like I'm on the planet.
I saw us as a circle floating in space, and I realized that in the center of the circle was the Earth, and we were basically channeling our light onto the Earth itself.
So
but we were light at the same time. Yep. And I saw myself, well, when I started, usually when I channel, I connect my root chakra to the heart of the earth and connect my crown chakra to the heavens. So I have gold coming up, silver coming down, and spiraling together, and it comes out as a spiral of silver and gold.
You need to clean up the car.
Wow, it's interesting because I started seeing light too. I started thinking about light, but it was from like I started thinking about my bones. I started thinking about like my pineal gland, and the light was coming from there. It was like coming from the inside, and I just kept thinking about why am I thinking about like my bones, and why am I thinking about light coming from there and from my pineal gland? I just kept thinking about that. I had never done that before, so that's really cool, really interesting.
Well, if you think of bones, your bone marrow looks very much like DNA and cells almost.
Yeah.
If you do a slice of like let's say a big bone, like a femur or something like that, how it's all interconnected, all the webs of that marrow.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of what I was thinking about. I wasn't just thinking about the bone in general. I was thinking about like in it, like everything in it, like all the light coming from like within it. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Oh, thank you guys.
The chat on everybody.
I gotta do this again.
How does everybody feel in the chat?
They were saying Moon Chariot saw exactly the same thing Claudia did. Some people saw like the streams were shooting out. People felt peaceful.
Oh, white light curtains.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's so cool that someone saw that too.
Yeah, I've been watching the chat this whole time, and it just shows that the people who are attracted to Tara and people who Tara attracts are just amazing. Look at all these amazing people. I'm blown away.
So the Moon Chariot, you saw what I saw too.
You're all gifted, guys. You felt all this. You're very gifted, and embrace your gifts. You know what? Don't let anybody take you and tell you that otherwise. You are wonderful. You are beautiful, just the way you are. Okay, just remember that. Just the way you are a masterpiece. Know that, and don't let anybody else or anything try to tell you you're otherwise.
Yeah, and you are so powerful. We're all so powerful, and we have this because we're in this meat and bones suit, and so therefore we have this monkey brain, we forget how powerful we are every day. Every day. And so every day we have to remember, and every day we have to, be reminded maybe and know that we are so powerful, and we can use such beautiful, simple things as an altar, as a jar with water, to do these things that are absolutely transformative. And
that's the importance of a. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
And it just reminds us that we're that we're divine spiritual beings, because when we do these things, I remember I did about a year ago, really, really horrible situation, and I did a magic jar spell that it was almost like an impossible situation, that it would never work. Already, just talking about it makes my whole shut in my throat, like, still need to let go. But it freaking worked. It worked. And I know we're just so powerful, and we've been so repressed. And it's in such simple, beautiful ways that we can reconnect, just like we connect here, and to the people in the chat, we've got this thing, and we all have it in different ways. And it can be just like anything else. It needs a little bit of exercise. The more that we do it, it's why it's called a practice. It's why it's called a craft also. In the art world, there's always been this big distinction between an innate talent and a craft, for example. And a craft is something that you can hone, that anybody can do. So there are, for example, back when the velvet paintings were really popular, they would train people in Mexico. They would have like one woman who would be trained to do like a perfect rose, another one to do a perfect leaf. They were creating art, but they didn't have the innate artist thing, but they were learning a craft because they were practicing. And so it's just the same thing with the spiritual world, is tapping into it. And the more that you practice, the clearer that it becomes. So we're just so powerful. And that's the lie that Diana's talking about, right? Mm-hmm. That you're all talking about, that we forget, that we've been kind of turned down.
Yeah, I really liked what you said about every day we forget, and that just shows the importance of a daily practice. It doesn't matter if it's meditation, or like Diane was talking about with the water, or if it's grounding. Every single day you have to do something that brings you back to your higher self. And that would be my message to everyone. Just find something that brings you to your higher self, and do that every single day.
Because if you don't do it, you'll go back into the programs easily. It's faster
exactly.
to go back into programs, guys, faster than going back into because the masses think of those programs, so that is more influencing into us. And the one thing I always, I'm silly, so I say, when your coconut head starts thinking, stinky thinking, you shoot away and you go into your center and stay focused in practicing something that will benefit you all the time, every day. It's a part of your life. Definitely.
Yeah, and that's where daily altar practice is super, because even if you just go to your altar and you light a candle, or you grab a card, or you maybe rearrange your crystals, it kind of starts to bring you back into that.
So I wanted to leave off with like, as you guys were talking, one of my favorite pieces of writing popped into my brain, and it's the one by Marianne Williamson, about our greatest fear. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Our deepest fear is that we are not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are we not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
I gotta give you a bell for that. Had to. That was beautiful.
Beautiful.
So thank you guys. Thank you for everybody coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
having
you
me,
guys.
for having us.
Here after this.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for doing this,
Yeah,
Tara.
it's
Yes.
awesome.
If it wasn't for you, this wouldn't have
There you
happened.
go.
So
Exactly.
thank you,
It's
Tara.
been great. We have to do it again.
Yep,
Definitely. I mean,
definitely
Yeah.
do.
So
It's
Yeah.
been fun.
everybody who's been watching, we love you guys. And yeah, definitely go check out the school. And thank you for just being awesome and being here. And it's my favorite part of Saturday. So peace, love, and chicken grease.
yeah.
Bye.
Bell. Whee!